Peace and blessings, Mishpachah. Baruchim Habayim. All are welcome here. Those of you that follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, I give praise unto the Most High on this day. This is the day that Yah has made, and we are rejoicing in it, yes, because we are glad. All praises to the Most High. I'm Melchia Uriel, and this is Shabbat Morning Coffee, and we have a number of subjects to discuss. The main topic for today is that, yes, prophecy is coming to pass. And when I tell you, we're going to talk about it today. Hey, be right back.
Malkia Uriel. See, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down, to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant.
All right, we're back. Yes, once again, I'm Melchia Uriel, and this is Shabbat Morning Coffee. We're glad that you're here, and hey, I'm glad to be here. We're glad that the Most High is here, so let's go ahead and let's dig in. We serve you notice, of course, that we are Yah only, we are Tanakh only, and we are this. Why? Because of the truth. I know you've heard that saying a lot. We have the truth. The Jehovah's Witnesses say they have the truth. There's a lot of people who say that they have the truth. But if you stand upon the Holy Scriptures, meaning that which is written from Bereshit, Genesis, all the way through to the end of 2nd Chronicles in the Hebrew Bible, which includes all the books of the so-called Old Testament, or if you go by what Christians call the Old Testament, and you go by Genesis to Malachi, yes, those things must come to pass. I've laid this foundation before. There's no need to lay it again. But for those of you that will stop in the chat room and simply ask, what is this foundation? Well, we'd be happy to share it with you. But long story short, let me give you the condensed version. The Christian New Testament is not the word of the Most High. It is not the word of Elohim, God. And it is so because the main character of Christianity, Yeshua ben Yosef, called Jesus by the Greeks and the pagans, did not endorse the Christian New Testament. It did not endorse it. He did not endorse it. Neither did he read it. Neither did he go by it. So we say that those of you who are Christians, yes, you should read what he read. You should flow with what he flowed with and obey what he obeyed, which was the Tanakh. He never laid eyes on Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, though these are extra, or I should say, outside of the Tanakh. These are writings and commentaries that were written about Yeshua ben Yosef, called Jesus by the Greeks and the pagans. But nonetheless, a story about you is exactly that. It's not the truth. It is just a story about you. And that is what Christianity is built upon. Christianity is actually, when you really think about it and when you really come to grips with it, Christianity in all of its entirety is nothing more than one assumption built upon another under the name of revelation, and it is all nothing more than a house of cards, which once you touch it with truth, it begins to tumble, and there is no re-resurrecting or resurrecting that which has fallen once truth has come. You cannot unscramble an egg. Once the truth hits, everything is as it will be, and even it will intensify. You can't go backwards. Well, those of you that embrace the truth, we understand that the Most High is with us and we are with the Most High. Why? Because we stand upon His word. We understand the love language of the Most High, and that is obedience and good acts. Yes, this is what He desires. This is what He wants. For this is what He obeys us to do in the Tanakh. We are Tanakh only because we take His word seriously. We are Tanakh only, and we are Yah only because we take His word to be truth. And we have pledged our allegiance and our obedience unto the Most High. And so therefore we obey His word. Once you begin with His word, and not with Matthew, not with Mark, not with Luke, not with John, there is no way that you can enter into the back of a book and expect to understand everything that's happened in the beginning unless you start with the beginning. That being the case, the beginning is the book of Bereshit, and it takes you all the way through the Torah, and then of course we come to the prophets, and then of course we come to the Ketuvim. These are the three sections of the Tanakh, and so we say to you that we are Tanakh only because of the scripture and because of the truth of what we stand upon, being that the Tanakh is the word of the Most High. So that being the case, we stand by the words of the Most High, and we decree that it is His word that comes to pass, and we've dedicated ourselves to living in those truths. Therefore we say before all, we say that we will have no other Elohim before Him, and we will not worship any other. Also, we will not make any object, whether it be ideological, whether it be psychological, or whether it be physical, nothing that we have created will we bow down to and worship as our Elohim. We will not take His name. We will not take His character in vain. We will not take Him or His character in vain. And to this we all say Aman wa Aman. We will honor our mothers and our fathers. We pour libation unto them, which is our ancient practice, but we do not leave food for the dead. And we do this in honor, but also we honor them as they live, and we actually give unto them honor by means of monetary support and that we can. We will and do honor the fathers and mothers that the Most High has given unto us, and we all say Aman. We will not commit murder. We will not shed innocent blood. And to this we say, Aman. We will not commit adultery. We will not steal. And we will not be a false witness in a court of law or in any adjudication. And to this we all say, Aman. And we will not covet and desire and attempt to acquire that belongs to someone else. We will not lust after it in our hearts, for we know that the Most High has given unto us blessings that we ourselves will receive, for His blessings do seek us out. And to this we all say Aman wa Aman. So we are definitely Yah only, we are Tanakh only, and we abide by this miniature covenant called the Ten Commandments. If you are shy of attempting to embrace the 613, then hey, all you have to do is begin with the 10 that we have just rehearsed before you. That being the case, I want to say for those of you that are ready, we will definitely move forward into our main topic, but after, you know how we like to do. We like to pray, and we also like to praise. And so in praying, we first of all, we have to forgive ourselves for the stupid things that we've done, for missing the mark. We do not hold ourselves, we do not deal mercilessly with ourselves. We forgive ourselves. We understand that we are growing, so we forgive ourselves of those things that we have been hung up on, and then we also forgive others that have proven, just as we have to ourselves, we forgive others that have proven that they have demonstrated the correct right acts and actions that are righteous from a righteous heart, and we see that consistency, and therefore we forgive. But until then, we yet have mercy. So whether you need to have mercy upon yourself, you decide. If you can, forgive yourself or have mercy upon yourself, but then also others. You will love others even as you love yourself. So therefore, have mercy upon others who are yet trying to demonstrate before you that yes, they have changed their ways and that they are consistent with it. Likewise, Forgive yourself, forgive them, and then we will be ready to go ahead and go before the Most High. That being the case, let us prepare to pray. Let us pray. Baruch atah Yahweh, Baruch atah b'hashemayim, Baruch atah b'haaretz. Blessed are you, Most High, in the heaven. Blessed are you in the earth. Baruch atah kol hayom. Blessed are you all the day. We honor you, we give you praise, and we magnify you for just simply who you are. You prepare us well in advance for that comes before us. Prepare us for our challenges. And we thank you, we honor you, we appreciate you, and we thank you that you are the animating spirit within us that gives us life. We thank you that we are an extension of you, our eternal creator. For you are Melech HaOlam, you are the king of the universe, and you are within us. We are a part of you, you are a part of us. Enachnu itanu gam, enachnu icha. We are with you, and you are with us. And we thank you. Enachnu Yachad, we are together, and we thank you, Most High. We ask that you would assist us as we open up our eyes and our ears. We say, Ha'oznaim gam ha'ainaim ham petokim lifneika. We say that our ears and our eyes are open before you, and we thank you, we honor you, we come to learn your truth, and we agree with what you are doing. In your name and your name alone, Most High, we say Aman wa Aman. Yes, we're thankful. We're thankful unto the Most High. And of course, as we always do, hey, we magnify the Most High. So, you know, we're a people that praise. Let's get ready. Praises to the Most High. Oh, praises to the Most High. I love you beyond the day that I die. Oh, praises to you. Oh, praises to the Most High. Oh, praises to the Most High. You are the apple of my eye. All praises to you. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. It's always been you and I. All praises to you. All praises to the Most High. I raise my hands to the sky. All praises to the Most High. All praises to you. praises to you most high. I love you beyond the day that I die. All praises to you. All praises to the most high. Praises to you most high. Praise you most high. We praising you. All praises to the most high. You are the apple of my eye. All praises to the most high. All praises to you. One more time. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. It's always been you and I. Oh, One more time. All praise to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. I love you beyond the day that I die. All praises to you, yeah. All praises to the Most High. You are the apple of my eye. All praises to you. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. It's always been you and I. All praises to you, to you, to you. We give him praise. All right, I could definitely continue praising him. I really could. I could continue praising him. He is our all in all. I tell you, you are everything unto us. Most High, you are everything unto us, and we give him praise. Let's go ahead and give some shout outs. Let's see who's up in the chat room. And so here we go. Who was the first to turn the lights on? It was none other than my brother from another mother, Bergen Paris. Peace and blessings to you, my brother, and may you and your blessed family, your wife and your daughter, may you always be nestled in the palm of the hand of the Most High, and may he always take care of you. And as well, we have the second person. Now, listen, remember, we established a new rule. First person turns on the lights. Second person has to start the coffee pot. So, hey, the person to start the coffee pot is Yeshua Yaonle Cooper. Peace and blessings to you, my brother. I'm glad that you are here. Definitely glad that you are here. Who else is up in the house? None other than Gilbert St. John. Peace and blessings to you, my brother. Shabbat shalom to you. And we are glad that I'm glad that you emailed me. And hey, I appreciate that. And we're going to hear just a little bit about that a little bit later, my brother. But okay, who else is up in here? It's All Good is in the house. Christine Croning, peace and blessings to you, my sister. You're here. Moving differently. All right. Hey. And you know what? I have not forgotten. I am going to call you. My humble apologies. I'm definitely going to do that. I apologize to you, my brother. And so, Repentant and Saved is in the house. Peace and blessings to you. May the Most High bless you and the hubby. And George Evans is up in the house. Peace and blessings to you, my brother George. He who gives us good questions. And I'm glad that you like that song, Repentant and Saved. Thank you. It just came out of my prayers and praise. So hey, D-Lo is here. Peace and blessings unto you, D-Lo. Glad that you are here. And you know what? To those of you, I want to speak to those of you that are watching me. I'm glad that you're watching me. But those of you that are watching but not in the chat room, I invite you. I can see already by the numbers that we have more people watching than we do in the chat room, I'm going to welcome you. I'm personally going to welcome you to come into the chat room through YouTube. And hey, we want you to join us so that you can comment. We ask that you be respectful and that you honor the channel, and that you again be respectful, right? We say, hey, we don't bite unless you bite first. So hey, we love our brothers and our sisters, all you that obey and that seek to obey the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. You are my brother, you are my sister, you are welcome in the room. We believe in righteousness, we believe in truth, we believe in honesty, and hey, when it comes to that, we don't take no stuff. So anyway, peace and blessings to you. We're glad that you are here. With that being stated, we are getting ready to go into our main topic. So hey, we're going to go into our main topic, and our main topic for today is prophecy is coming to pass. Now, what I want to do here, I'm going to do something just a little bit differently here on today, because long story short, I happened to look at my email, and there was an email from our dear brother, Gilbert St. John, and he asked me to comment on a particular video. And this now, okay, there's a number of you that may have, I don't know, you may be acquainted with this gentleman that you're going to see, but I have to tell you this. And this kind of coincides with, excuse me while I do two things at once here. Excuse me, I have to, okay, sorry about that. But looking at the email that came from my brother, Gilbert St. John's, he asked me to look at the material, look at a video that came from someone, and I'm trying to pull it up now. So, hey, when I looked at it and I heard what this gentleman was saying, now many of you may be acquainted with this person. Many of you may know who he is, and so basically we're going to show you who he is, but it's what he is saying that is more important. And he says something that is, I mean, it's quite inflammatory, and we're going to get to it, but I want to get over this little bit of a hiccup because I can't show you the video until I complete this process. So let's do this. Let's just pause for a short while. Let's do a station ID, and we will be right back with the main topic.
Hi, I'm Melchior Uriel, and I'm so delighted to meet you. I'm glad that you stopped by. I'm glad that you're curious, and I'm glad that you clicked on the video.
All right, we are back, and so what we are going to do is, as I said, we are going to get right into the main topic. And the main topic is that prophecy is, yes, it is coming to pass. Now, let's deal with this from the standpoint, and again, I'm going to show you this video, and in this video, I just, okay, I'm going to let him say what he's saying, but then, of course, I have to make some comments, and I have to make some corrections, okay? So let's go in. Let's see here, and it looks like we have just a little bit of another snag here. Excuse me. I don't want to spend a lot of time dealing with this. I don't know why I've had so many technical difficulties even this morning, but I tell you what, we're going to go ahead and we're going to, pause for another station ID so I can fix that one too. Are increasing numbers of Hebrew Israelites all over the world, from Asia to Africa, from Mexico to Germany. There are Hebrew Israelites that are coming together as a nation and as a family, and you are needed. You are needed to take your place as the educator of your families, your sons, your daughters. So we want you to enroll in Navi Bait University so that you can take your place in the kingdom. Now is the time to prepare to create Hebraically centered scholarly materials to educate others, to teach your family, to teach your sons, your daughters, to teach the young, to teach the old, and to bring them into the knowledge of the Most High. The Most High is gathering us together as He has promised. So enroll in Navi Bait University, connect with the administrator and the registrars, and enroll today for just $35 for a bachelor's per month, or $45 for a master's, or even enroll in the doctorate's program. You can get a degree with a Hebraic focus at Navi Bait University. Hebraic education, undergraduate, graduate, and specialty courses. Yes. Hey, we're back. And you know what? Yeah, I did fix, all praises to the Most High, I did fix the problem. But you know what? I just tell you, I'm looking at the chat room, and I have to say, I love my family. I do. Listen, I have big love in my heart for each and every one of you. And, just to see my family here, you guys are here, and I really appreciate it. You guys, you warm my heart. I just appreciate it. My brother Bergen Paris, who's been with me since day one. I mean, it's moving. It really is. Josh and Penny, who I love dearly, and my sister Kanaya Israel. I'm so glad to see. Listen, I've never met you all physically, but man, I tell you, I love you all. I love you all. I love you all. And those of you that are here, I tell you, my brother George Evans, man, I tell you, you all really do touch my heart just by your being here, and I really appreciate you. I could call you all out by name. And it's weird, it's crazy. I've never met you personally, but you all have a special place in my heart. I could call you all by name,
it's 12
but hey, I know I would miss, and even some that are not here. I tell you, I do. My heart goes out to you, and I love you guys. I really do, and I can't wait to see you guys. So anyway, let's get into the main topic. The main topic is that, yes, there is prophecy that is coming to pass, and with prophecy coming to pass, we have individuals that will always fight against what the Most High is doing. They will fight against it, and they will, bring out their statistics, and they will, they will say what they will want to say. So let's do this. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put on my headphones so that I can hear just like you, and we're going to hear what this individual says. And by the way, this comes to us by way of our brother Gilbert. Our brother Gilbert says, hey, you know what, check this out, let me know. Well, it just so happens that I'm going to interweave this video into our main topic, which is that prophecies are coming to pass. We have to just sidestep the naysayers.
I would say probably the mere fact that nothing in the history of Israel and the Israeli people is true. Nothing. And that, like Christianity and Islam and so many other religions, Christianity especially, is based on stories which were not true, never happened. And I do not believe, after talking with and sitting with and researching the subject for some 60 years, I started looking at theology and religion back in 1959, almost 60 years ago.
Now let me stop him right there, because now, of course, he is a, yes, this is Jordan Maxwell, and he is a naysayer. He is someone who says that, you know what, hey, nothing is true when it comes to the history of Israel. In other words, the things that are written in the Tanakh, they are not true. Now, with that being the case, that kind of wars against the very concept that we're talking about, and I kind of want to play some more of him, but let me just go in with this for right now, and let me just simply say that when you look at the facts, and when you look at archaeology, when you look at some of the other things that we see in the scriptures, we know beyond the shadow of a doubt that what we're dealing with here is we're dealing with the transmission of truth. Now, keep in mind what Jordan Maxwell is talking about. He's saying, well, those stories never happen and that it's never true. Now, I'm going to say tongue in cheek here, that what we have to understand is that the scriptures, when I talk about the scriptures, I'm talking about the Tanakh. Now, we can have a discussion on the geographical locus of the Tanakh and where did it happen, what continent did it happen on. Well, of course, we know by means of the vegetation that is mentioned in the Tanakh, the animals that are mentioned in the Tanakh. You don't have lions running around Europe. You don't have lions running around Greenland. You don't have hippopotami running around Greenland and running around Mexico. You don't have the animals, if you will, that are mentioned in the Tanakh. You don't have them running around here in the United States. I know some people say, well, no, the United States is the Holy Land. Well, listen, I don't want to get into a geographical battle or discussion with you regarding that, but suffice it to say that when you look zoologically at the Tanakh and you look at the animals that are in the Tanakh, you will listen, it outrules a number of different geographies just simply by looking at the animals alone. Now, wait a minute. What does that tell us? What does that show us? And why is that significant? It is significant because when you look at the locus of where the population and the continent of where these things happen that are written in the Tanakh, we cannot help but to understand that Africa, that continent that is called Africa, yes, it is the place of the Holy Land. It is the place where the Bible and its patriarchs and its people and its happenings, its actions, its wars, its family journeys, and so forth and so on, this is where this took place. And yes, there are other people groups that are also mentioned in the Tanakh, like the Sin, who we call the Chinese today, and like the children of Japhet and Gomer, those who we call Germans today. Listen, we could go on and on. So the Tanakh itself is based geographically in that place which we would call Africa, and we know that by means of the vegetation. And we also understand, because of looking at the fauna of the scriptures and looking at the zoological template, if you will, of the Tanakh, that it is Central Africa and even Southern Africa. In fact, really just Africa itself, because we have evidence not only from Mitzrayim, but also, which many would consider to be in North Africa, all the way down to South Africa, which is the highest elevation in Africa. So then you're talking about the entire continent being a holy place, where from the very beginning of the book of Bereshit all the way through to the end of 2nd Chronicles in the Hebrew Bible, we find things taking place. That being the case, you have to understand how those people and how the ancient cultures of that land and that place actually spoke truth and how they dealt with truth. Now, as we're going to talk about and interweave this particular video into, yes, and also from Ethiopia, definitely. We're talking about the entire continent of Africa. We're talking about what the Most High began and what he has done, and you'll find out as you look at the animals and as you look at the flora. We're talking about Africa, and so we have to ask the question, how did those ancient people, how did they relay truth? How did they relay truth? Well, when you look at some of the other classical, I want to call it Afrocentric, because it does come from Africa and it does establish a worldview. You have to look at the Aesop's fables. You have to look at the tales of Anansi the spider. You have to look at these tales and understand that they relayed truth without superimposing what we have in our Western mentality, in our Western psyche, a demand for empirical science and truths that we can measure in a test tube, that we can hold in our hands. And so what we're going to talk about and what we're going to deal with today is the fact that prophecy is definitely coming to pass, and there is proof of prophecy coming to pass. And for many of us, those of us who are entrapped within this three-dimensional physical plane, we feel as if there is no other truth than that we could touch, that we can feel. It's because we have been so deeply ingrained, and I might even say brainwashed, into accepting this this Western mentality of empirical sciences and a negation, if you will, by all things esoteric, even though now the pendulum begins to swing in the opposite direction. There are more in the scientific community that are expressing or embracing the concept of a God and a spirit world. Needless to say, you have experiments that have taken place, just as you take a look at the studies that was done at Pennsylvania University, where they actually, in fact, you may have heard of the 21 grams, right? Well, what they discovered is that while an individual was transitioning out of this world and going into the next, basically they transitioned, they passed, they noticed a change in weight. When the person finally died, the change in weight was 21 grams. And it has been said that, 21 grams is the weight of the soul, or the weight of the spirit being within man. Well, be that as it may, we're not gonna co-sign that. We're not gonna say yes or no to that. However, it's just a simple point that those in the scientific community are, if you will, they're kind of leaving, or I should say, they're lengthening the tether between the empirical sciences and the anti-God establishment, and beginning to embrace a more spiritual standpoint, to the point there are some scientists that say, yes, it is proven mathematically that there is a God. Well, be that as it may, let's just simply say, and let's understand one simple truth, that while an individual like Jordan Maxwell will say that nothing is true, okay, I'm simply going to say this: there's more true to the Tanakh than what modern science will admit to and will willingly accept. And notice what he said. He said that he began to study back in 1959. But why do I have a problem with that? Why do I have an issue with that? I have an issue with that because in 1958 and 1959, they had not yet made the archaeological discoveries that they have made since. Meaning, they used to say, and I'm just going to mention this, and I'm going to get on with our topic, but they used to say, oh, there's no proof, there's no archaeological proof, no evidence whatsoever that a King David ever lived. And they would harp on this, and they would talk about other societies and people groups in the Tanakh and say that they did not exist. The Hittites did not exist. The Amorites did not exist. And just, they would not say that they existed. Why? Because they didn't have archaeological evidence. Well, since then, we have things like the Tel Dan Stele, which gives us an understanding that it is archaeological proof. Yes, it is. It's archaeological proof of two different things. One, the house of Dawid HaMelech, the house of David. It is proof that he existed, right? But it is also proof that there was a house of David. That just as the scriptures in the Tanakh declare that there was a house of David that was established by the Most High, we see it in archaeological evidence. So then, when I hear someone say that these people in the Tanakh never existed, I use this as an example. I use the Tel Dan Stele as an example that at first Bible scholars and archaeologists were saying that King David did not exist. Therefore, the whole Bible is nothing but fiction. And so you just need to, deal with it as you do with all other books of fiction and not take it seriously. Well, that being the case, I simply want to say this. Until they found the Tel Dan Stele, until they found that, they were thinking that David was a fiction. They were thinking that it was a lie. David didn't exist. And then people began to connect the dots. Well, if David didn't exist, then Solomon didn't exist. And if Solomon didn't exist, then all that stuff about Bathsheba didn't exist. And Menelik didn't exist. And the Ark of the Covenant is not in Ethiopia, and so forth and so on. And as you can see, the sweater begins to unravel as you keep pulling that thread, because, once you get on the bandwagon of it didn't exist, they didn't exist, they didn't exist. One individual that I used to follow back when I was in the conscious community was Dr. Ray Hagins. And Dr. Ray Hagins has this thing where he says, I will pay your living expenses for the rest of your life if you can prove to me that anyone in the Bible ever existed. And I sent him some notifications. I'm like, hey, here's proof that this person lived. Here's proof that that person lived. And so basically, yes, I am still paying my own living expenses. But here's my point. There's many people that have said that these people don't exist. David didn't exist. Well, again, I serve you notice that it is because of things like the Tel Dan Stele that we now know that David did exist. Well, why is that significant? Because it changes the whole trajectory, if you will. It's like this, and I'm trying to find a picture of the Tel Dan Stele. I know that I can get it. I just want to show it to you real quick. But it's the Tel Dan Stele that gives us that proof, and it also gives us leverage. I call this archaeological kung fu. I call it archaeological kung fu. Why? Because as I get this, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this picture of the Tel Dan Stele for you, okay, while I talk to you. So I say that this is archaeological kung fu. I say that it is. Why? Because if you can look and see that now that we have the Tel Dan Stele, let me get it for you. Now that you can see that we have the Tel Dan Stele right here, right behind me, which is referencing the house of David right here, that says that, guess what? All of those naysayers that were saying that David did not exist, it's saying that they are wrong. David did exist. His dynasty did exist. And not only that, the David of Scripture, the David of the Tanakh existed. And it gives validity to the Tanakh. And it gives validity to the understanding of, now it becomes feasible that there is and was a Solomon. But not only that, it also does something else. And here's where the archaeological kung fu comes in, because you can then use it as leverage to flip the argument and to flip the naysayers and say, wait a minute, the reason why you say that Abraham doesn't exist, the reason why you say that the first 11 chapters of Genesis or Bereshit, that it is actually fiction, and that it's taken from Mesopotamia, and that none of them ever lived, none of them ever existed. It's simply because your archaeological finds have not allowed you to strike pay dirt. In other words, you haven't found any archaeological evidence, whether it be inscriptions or whether it be ostraca or even whole vases themselves. You have not found anything. Okay, and that's what you're saying. Basically, you're admitting your own failure, and that with all your archaeological digs, with all the time and the millions that you have spent, you simply have not found it. It doesn't mean that the Tanakh is not true. It does not mean that the patriarchs of the scriptures never existed. No, it simply means that you have not found it yet. I'm here to tell you flat-footedly and to stand flat-footedly before the Most High and you, and let you know that there are prophecies that are coming to pass because the Tanakh can be embraced as spiritual truth. Yes, it can be embraced as spiritual truth. And with that being the case, for me, hey, I knew that there was a David HaMelech before I saw the archaeological evidence, but guess what? Now that there is archaeological evidence, we know beyond the shadow of a doubt that there was a David HaMelech. Therefore, the burden of proof is on you to show that Abraham didn't exist or that someone else didn't exist. Again, I state that it's simply the fact that you have not found the artifacts yet. You have not found the evidence, the probability the probability that they did exist increased exponentially by us finding these archaeological treasures, if you will, that prove that the Tanakh is valid when it talks about a David, when it talks about a Hezekiah, when it talks about King Omri. I mean, listen, I could go on through the list. There are over 37 individuals from the Tanakh that have been proven to have existed. 37 individuals that have been proven to have existed, and we have the archaeological evidence. I'm not going to go through all of them right now because this is not about archaeology, but though I do make the point with archaeology that yes, even though we have people like Jordan Maxwell that will tell you that nothing ever existed and that these people didn't exist and this stuff didn't come to pass and it never happened like that, well, bottom line of it is we now have archaeological evidence that tells us that not only was there a David, but there was a house of David, which gives credence to what the Tanakh is saying, and it lets us know that now, because of these archaeological finds, the probability of it being very true has just risen exponentially. And it simply means that, guess what, them archaeologists, they just simply have not found the evidence yet. But now, because of this trend, at first they didn't have the Tildan Stele. Now we do have the Tildan Stele. It simply points a finger at the archaeologists and their failure to find what was once there and what was once, or that could be evidence, that could serve as evidence to prove the existence of the biblical patriarchs. Well, with that being the case, if you look at the fact that the archaeology now substantiates individual figures like this, like David and the house of David and Omri and so forth and so on, it does give you an understanding then that what is written in the scriptures is, it's not just, these aren't fantasies, these aren't fairy tales. In fact, it really does give you an understanding, and it gives you leverage to stand on a foundation that says that the Tanakh is the word of the Most High. It is the word of the Most High. It is what the Most High is focusing on. This is what he is doing. And so this is what I want to share with you. And this is what I want to talk about. And the simple fact that there are prophecies that are coming to pass. The Most High said in his word in Psalms 89 and 34, he says, "My covenant will I not break, nor alter the thing that has gone out of my lips." So he's saying that I'm not going to change it. It is something that is established. And he says that basically the sun and the moon, that they are a faithful witness right here in verse number 37. And that basically what he says is going to come to pass. Now, we can also go to Isaiah. We can go to the 45th, even the 44th, but let me just stop off here at the 45th chapter of Isaiah. And we're going to, we're going to go ahead and we're going to just take a look at some things here. For the Most High gives us an understanding that his word is going to come to pass. Notice what he says here. Okay, and let me just do this by means of a foundation for what we're getting into. Look at this, Isaiah 45 and 18. "For thus says Yah, that created the heavens, Elohim himself that formed the earth and that made it. He hath established it. He created it not in vain. He formed it to be inhabited. I am Yah, and there is none else. I have not spoken in secret in a dark place of the earth. I said not unto the seed of Jacob, seek ye me in vain. I, Yah, speak righteousness. I declare things that are right. Assemble yourselves together and come. Draw near, ye that escape the nations. They have no knowledge that set up wood for their own graven." And this is getting into something else that I don't. But here's where I'm going. Here's where I'm going. Verse number 21. "Tell ye and bring them near, yea, let them take counsel together, who have declared this from ancient times." Who have declared what's going to come to pass from ancient times? Who have told it from that time? Have not I, Yah? And there is no Elohim beside me, a just Elohim and a Savior. There is none beside me. He says, you know what? Who has told you what is going to happen from the ancient times? Now, if these were times that we would consider ancient, and in these ancient times, they had ancient times, the Most High is saying, listen, I told you what was going to happen even from the beginning. I told you what was going to take place. I told you, and now he says, you know what? Hey, it's going to come to pass. It is going to come to pass. And it's yet unfolding, right? It is yet coming to pass. And so with that being the case, we then say that we understand that there is prophecy that is coming to pass. Well, you may say, well, what is, what are you talking about? What prophecy? Well, I can tell you right now, there is a movement taking place where those of us who thought that we were Hamites, we thought that we were, we thought we were Gentiles. They told us that we were Gentiles. They told us that we swung from trees, and they came and got us and gave us Christianity, and we ought to be glad. I'm telling you things that were told to me. I heard that you had better be glad that we came and got you, because your people were swinging from trees like monkeys, and we gave you Christianity, and so forth and so on. And look, and here you are in the United States, and blah, blah, blah. And they're going on and on and on. And there's individuals who had made us believe that we are Gentiles. People in Christendom believe that they are Gentiles, and they believe that they themselves are the accursed, and that only by grace in this fictitious idol and this fictitious religion do they have salvation and acceptance by the Most High. And they don't even realize that they are the chosen. They are the righteous. They are the ones that the Most High considers to be the apple of his eye. But guess what? There is a movement taking place with those of us who were once under that indoctrination. We believe Reverend Fatback when he told us that we were a Gentile, and we felt no problems. We had no problems eating ham hock sandwiches and chitlin smoothies, and we had no problem, eating those sea roaches that they call shrimp and lobsters. We had no problems at all. We try to get as much of that as we possibly can. It was a joy for us to eat hog head cheese and pig feet and hog maws, and poor pig, everything is gone. His ears and his snout and everything is gone. Everything eaten on that filthy animal, that filthy beast that we were commanded by the Most High not to eat. But we were glad to do so. Why? Because we thought that we were Gentiles, and the Mormons told us in the beginning of their religion that we didn't have souls, and they didn't give black people souls until 1960. And we ate it up because we felt like we were the disenfranchised when it came to the Most High, and didn't know that we were the people. But now I'm telling you that there is a movement taking place where those of us who belong to the Most High, our eyes are becoming open, and we are realizing who we are. We're realizing that the Most High is with us. We're realizing that we are the individuals of the book. Yes. And I'm not saying I'm not here to point a finger and to say who isn't, but I'm pointing a finger at those who are. I don't have time to deal with any counterfeit money. I want real money, right? I'm trying to spend real money. I don't have time to deal with counterfeits. I don't care who is and who isn't. I just focus on those who the Most High has chosen as his people, as his children, those children of the book, those children that fit the curses, those children that fit everything that the Most High has said in Deuteronomy 28. Yeah, I'm here to point a finger and to bring them into the truth, because there is a movement that is taking place. This movement is, listen, when I tell you it's right there in the scriptures, I'm telling you that prophecy is coming to pass. And let's look at one of them right now. Isaiah 45. Isaiah 45. Let's take a look at it and let's see what is happening here. Okay. When we take a look at, I'm going to start at verse number 3, it says, "And I will give you the treasures of darkness and the hidden riches of secret places, that you may know that I, Yah, which call you by name, that I am the Elohim of Israel." Look at verse number 4. For Yaakov, my servant's sake, and Israel, mine elect, I have even called you by thy name. Now the Most High is calling us by our name as his people. Once we were called Lo Ami. He said, you are not my people. But now he is saying, yes, you are my people. And look at what it reads in verse number 4. For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, mine elect, I have even called you by name. I have surnamed you, though you have not even known me. I am Yah, and there is none else. There is no Elohim beside me. I girded you, even though you haven't even known me. You were in a church someplace, hickamasine, kicking over carpet, knocking over benches and pews, but the Most High still sought you out. You were knee deep into Christianity, loved it, and was just eating as many pork sausages as you could possibly get in, eat. And you were doing the things that you were doing in the Christian church, but yet the Most High himself, the Most High came and got you, woke you up, and brought you into a place where you can now say, you know what, I'm so thankful for the truth. I'm so thankful for what the Most High has brought me into. I'm so thankful that I'm his child. I'm so thankful that I am one of those that the Most High calls his own. I am so thankful. So let's look at another part of the prophecy right here in Isaiah 44. He says, in fact, let me even start from the first verse. Yet now hear, O Yaakov, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus says Yah, that made thee and formed thee from the womb, formed you from the womb, which will help you. Fear not, O Yaakov, my servant, and you, Yeshurun, whom I have chosen. Look at verse number 3. For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon thy dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed, and my blessing upon thine offspring. And that is happening. That is happening even now, where we are waking up spiritually because the Most High is pouring into us spiritually. He's endowing us with his spirit. He's endowing us with his likeness. And notice the effects of it. Notice what's happening. And they shall spring up as among the grass. You talk about a grassroots movement. This is what the Most High is talking about. And they shall spring up as among grass, as willows by the watercourses. In other words, it's a grassroots movement that is growing stronger and stronger, like a willow tree by the watercourse, whose roots run deep. The Most High is saying, man, this thing is coming, and it's going to be plentiful, and it's going to be strong. It's going to be able to endure. And notice what it reads in verse number 5. One shall say, I am Yah's. I belong to Yah. Do you not know that this prophecy is coming to pass? Do you not know that this is something that is coming to pass right now? Even this channel, even other channels like this is proof. Your presence here is proof that this prophecy is coming to pass. Many people are waking up. They're becoming disenfranchised with the church. They're becoming disenfranchised with these so-called organized religions, and they want the truth. They want the spirit of the Most High, and they want a pure way to walk before the Most High. And this is the stirring and the doing of the Most High. Notice what he said will happen. One shall say, I am Yah's, I belong to Yah, and another shall call himself by the name of Yaakov. One shall call himself by the name of Yaakov, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto Yah, and surname himself by the name of Israel. In other words, and give themselves a last name of the name of Israel. Listen, this is happening. This is happening even now. And the movement, I'm telling you, it is strong and it is increasing. It is enduring. It is conquering and enduring. It is resilient. And it is standing against all of the naysayers that would try to convince you that, hey, it ain't true. It ain't real. That ain't really happening. That's not really going on. I'm telling you, we are waking up by the hundreds. We are waking up by the thousands. All praises to the Most High. We are waking up, and prophecy is coming to pass. Please keep that in mind. Please understand that prophecy is coming to pass, and you are living in this demonstration of it right now. Let me just continue here with this verse. It says they're going to surname themselves by the name of Israel, and you know that that's happening. You can look right now. I dare you, look at YouTube and look at Facebook. How many people have surnamed themselves by the name of Israel? And why didn't this happen, my brothers and my sisters? Why didn't it happen like this in the 30s, in the 40s, in the 50s? Why didn't it happen like this in the 60s? Why didn't it happen like this? But why is it happening now? Why is it happening now where it's so prominent? Where it is being, listen, now there are YouTube channels and books and so much more material out here. And it is all because we are the evidence of this prophecy, and the knowledge is increasing. The literature is becoming, everywhere you turn, you can find Hebrew Israelite music. You can find books. You can find YouTube videos. Prophecy is coming to pass. Now, there are more prophecies that are coming to pass. Okay? But notice what the Most High says here. And let me just take you just a little bit further, okay? I'm going to take you just a little bit further. And notice what he reads here, what it reads. In fact, I'm sorry, this verse is so good. Thus said, I'm reading 6, Isaiah 44:6. Thus says Yah, the King of Israel, and his Redeemer, Yah Sabaoth, I am the first and I am the last. Forget this, this Alpha and Omega garbage. No, the Most High says, I am the first and I am the last, right? And I know some of you may be like, well, what is that? What is that? He says, Ani Rishon, I am the first, Ani Acharon, I am the first and I am the last. He is not the Alpha and the Omega. He is the Rishon and the Acharon. The Rishon and the Acharon. So none of that Alpha and Omega stuff. No. He says, I am the first and I am the last. And he said, and beside me there is no Elohim. And who as I shall call and shall declare it and set it in order for me. He said, you know what? Since I appointed the ancient people and the things that are coming and shall come, let them show unto them. In other words, there are things that are yet coming to pass in the Tanakh that hasn't come to pass yet. Notice what it reads here in verse number 8. Fear ye not, neither be afraid. Have not I told you from that time? I told you from then what was going to happen, and the Tanakh is still coming to pass. The Tanakh is still coming to pass. The Tanakh is still coming to pass. Woe to you, those of you who would say, oh, the law is done away with, and oh, that's just the Old Testament. We don't pay attention to that because we've got the New Testament. Oh, you've been fooled, you've been run amok, you've been led astray, you've been bamboozled, you've been hoodwinked. It is the word of the Most High that is appointed to come to pass. It is the word of the Most High that will come to pass and that is coming to pass. It is the word of the Most High. And with that being the case, he said, look, I've told you from the beginning. I told you what was going to come to pass. In other words, what the Most High said, it is going to come to pass. It is coming to pass. So you just settle yourself. You settle yourself and know that the word of the Most High is coming to pass concerning you and concerning your life and concerning your future. If you want to know what your future holds, look into the Tanakh, look into what the Most High says, and find yourself in the scriptures. Find yourself therein. Position yourself in the right place, which is the secret place of the Most High, and where you can abide under the shadow of the Almighty, according to Psalms 91, and where you can stand flat-footedly and say, he is our strength and he is our righteousness, and allow the Most High to begin to work with you and work in you. And with that being the case, there's so much more that I could say about this, my brothers and my sisters. But he said, you know what? Hey, I've told you that this is going to happen from the beginning, and now it is happening. And there are more prophecies that are coming to pass. There are far more than I've discussed. I have not even, listen, I haven't even scratched the surface when it comes to the prophecies that are coming to pass. I have not even begun to reveal to you how many prophecies are coming to pass. But suffice it to say that it is. It is. And as you embrace the Tanakh, as your foundation. You are on a solid foundation, and you can know beyond the shadow of a doubt that even this movement is proof that the Tanakh is coming to pass, and that the Most High is not done with his people yet. We are not cursed. We are blessed. We are the apple of his eyes. And so here we are. We can expect the Most High to begin to move on our behalf like never before, and to keep us through everything, to keep us despite what we may go through. I heard someone saying, and I'm going to stop this, but I heard someone saying, oh, now that so-and-so is in office, yeah, now we're really going to see Jacob's trouble. And to that I say, we've already been experiencing Jacob's trouble. It's not that, just because you may be used to what you've been going through, it doesn't mean that now we're going to really experience Jacob's trouble. No, we've already been experiencing Jacob's trouble, but read the latter part of that verse. It says that the Most High will save us out of it. He will save us from Jacob's trouble. So wake up, smell the Maxwell house, as I say, and realize that the Most High himself, that he is yet and still bringing his word and his will to pass. He is bringing it to pass. We are in the movement now. We are riding the wave. I'm a part of it. You're a part of it. And so, hey, we need to rejoice. I'm Melchior Uriel, and this is the end of the main topic for today, and we will be right back. And so at this time, we open it up so that you may ask. Yes, so that you may ask your questions. You may state your comments, and again, address it to me, and then I will be able, I'll be able to see it, and I will be able to comment and respond to your question. But it's important for you to address it to me so that I know that you're not speaking to someone else in the chat room. At this time, hey, we're going to open it up for questions about the main topic, about prophecy coming to pass. Let me tiptoe into the chat room and let me see what you all are saying, what you all are asking. Let's see. Tessa Yah, peace and blessings to you, my sister. So glad that you are here. Glad that you are here, my sister. Yes, his testimonies are true. Definitely. Peace and blessings to Ephraim Ban Yasharala. Peace and blessings to you. Ephraim says, Joel 3:2, and it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters, yes, shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men, guess what they're going to do? They're going to see visions. Yeah, they're going to see visions. So thank you for sharing that, my brother. Yeah, I like what you said. Tessayah. He is the Aleph and the Tav, not the Alpha and the Omega. No, not at all. All right, I will reach out to you, my brother Gilbert. I will reach out to you. So, are there any questions? I'm going to give you a minute. I don't see any questions. I do see a couple of comments, and I appreciate them, but I don't see any questions. Be right back. Are increasing numbers of Hebrew Israelites all over the world, from Asia to Africa, from Mexico to Germany. There are Hebrew Israelites that are coming together as a nation and as a family, and you are needed. You are needed to take your place as the educator of your families, your sons, your daughters. So we want you to enroll in Navi Beit University so that you can take your place in the kingdom. Now is the time to prepare to create Hebraically centered scholarly materials to educate others, to teach your family, to teach your sons, your daughters, to teach the young, to teach the old, and to bring them into the knowledge of the Most High. The Most High is gathering us together as He has promised. So enroll in Navi Beit University, connect with the administrator, and the registrars and enroll today for just $35 for a bachelor's per month, or $45 for a master's, or even enroll in the doctorate's program, you can get a degree with a Hebraic focus at Navi Beit University. Hebraic education, undergraduate, graduate, and specialty courses. All right, my brothers and sisters, I wanted to give you some time. And you know what? Since I don't see any questions, we're going to move on to our next segment. Yes, we are. And what is our next segment? What next segment are we going to go for? Well, here we go. Let's talk about something crazy. Well, I apologize in advance, but let's get ready to look at something that is absolutely and utterly just foolishness, but in the name of religion and in the name of Christianity. And by the way, I need to just do the backstroke for just a second. We're going to do the the question, or the crazy, but there's a question, excuse me. Let me do this. Okay, so this comes from Ephraim Ban Yasharala. The question is, pursuant to Acts 16, 37 and 38, why is Paul calling himself a Roman when identified as a Jew in verse 20? Okay, I don't even have to. I know the Christian scripture that you are referring to in the Christian New Testament at Ephraim Ben Yasharala, and this is it, because the Apostle Paul, he gives you his MO. He says, you know what? I'm all things to all men. When I am with the Romans, basically, I kind of flow the way that they flow. I do what they do. And when I'm around weak people, I pretend to be weak so that I may win the weak. And by the way, when I'm with the Jews, I pretend to be Jewish and under the law. And when I'm, basically whoever I'm with, I'm kind of like a chameleon that way so that I may win them. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but bottom line of it is the Apostle Paul says that basically his compass is movable. It's negotiable. And so he is able to say that he is one thing and then say that he is something else, only because it fits the need at the time. And because he has declared that, well, this need is in winning souls, winning the lost, and so forth and so on, he feels that it is justified. I believe it's in the book of Romans where he says that, well, if many have come to God by means of my lie, well, why am I yet accounted as a sinner? Well, that being the case, again, it shows that he is willing to go to lengths, if you will. He's willing to go to lengths in order to, quote unquote, get the job done so that he can convince and, quote unquote, win souls, when in all reality, he does not stand upon the foundation of the Tanakh alone, which says that there should be one law for you and for the strangers. Numbers 15 and 15. The Most High never declared that there should be two different laws for two different groups of people. And I say that tongue-in-cheek because, again, he said that there's going to be one law for you and for the stranger that sojourns with you. But yet in Acts 15, we see that there's a bifurcation, there is a difference, if you will. So then, with that being the case, I mean, he's trying to, by means of fitting in whatever he's trying to win the loss. And so Acts 15 is a bifurcation, and it says, well, those of you who are Gentiles, you can do this, but those of you who are Jews, So I do not subscribe to that, and on this channel, since we are Tanakh only, we do not subscribe to the Christian New Testament. At best, we may look at it as a form of commentary, but we stand upon the word of the Most High, which even according to the words of Yeshua ben Yosef, is not the Christian New Testament, so therefore we disregard Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and we do not hold it sacred because it talks about Yeshua ben Yosef, called Jesus by the Greeks and the pagans, but rather we stand upon the word of the Most High, which we find the Christian New Testament definitely contradicts and is a active polemic against, yes, against the word of the Most High that is found in the Tanakh. So thank you for your question. We're going to move right along. And again, we can give you a foundation for everything that I've said regarding us being Tanakh only, and that Yeshua ben Yosef, called Jesus by the Greeks and the pagans, that he did not endorse the Christian New Testament. He did not endorse it. And in fact, in light of even the main topic, looking at prophecies that come to pass, Yeshua ben Yosef said in Luke 24 and 44 that what must come to pass is that is written in, not Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, not the book of Revelation, but that is in the Tanakh, that is in the Torah, that is in the prophets, and that is in the Ketuvim. So, peace and blessings to you, Ephraim Ban Yasharallah. We stand as a people who are founded upon the word of the Most High, and so we stand thereon. Now we're going to get into our other segment. Yes, we are, and guess what that is? And so I'm warning you in advance. You're about to see some foolishness right now. And my brother Gilbert says, I wonder why he, meaning the Apostle Paul, why he wasn't married. Well, hey, we can only speculate, right? I heard my teacher say, and I don't know what he had to back this up, but he said they're not called the Pauline epistles for nothing. I don't know where he would have gotten any information from that would substantiate that. Some people said, now, in fact, maybe because they put two and two together, because he was a Hellenized Jew, meaning that he was into the Greco-Roman culture, which, of course, we know that homosexuality was a part of that. And yeah, Marcion, too, is to be discussed. You definitely have to discuss Marcion. Thanks, my brother George Evans. You have to discuss Marcion when you deal with Paul, because Marcion was a rich, Tessayah. In 2 Maccabees, it talks about the war against, Hellenism. And so when you take a look at it and you understand that what is really happening is that despite the fact that Paul says that he has a revelation, it goes against the Tanakh, and so therefore we do not stand by it. We stand for the Tanakh. I'd rather go with the Most High than to go with Paul or with anyone. I'd rather go with the Most High. So with that being the case, I don't know why y'all act like y'all don't want this next segment, but hey, here it comes. This is crazy, and I'm telling you in advance, this is foolishness under the guise of spirituality and Christianity. This is exactly what it is. And here we go. Now they're supposedly under the spirit, and it's a laughing thing. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, that was real. That was. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh, he knows that the camera is on him. He waves his hand and people just laugh and falling out. Like, look at me. Look at what I can do. Look at what I can do. Look at this guy. He knows. Oh. Really? Really? These guys, I'm telling you, they know that they're on camera. Look at this guy. It's like, I'll perform, I'll act. Jump up in your seat a little bit because he pointed at you. And they will walk away from that and say, oh, the Spirit of God was just all over them.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
That guy right there is so... Look at the guy. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. And they're going to swear up and down that all of that is the Spirit of God. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing. What they're mistaking for the Spirit of God is, listen, laughter itself, it can be contagious. If you, if you hear somebody laugh and it's a crazy laugh and they continue to laugh, it will make you want to laugh. It's kind of like yawning, right? When you have any kind of connection with someone, and I've seen this, watch this. If you have any kind of connection with someone and they yawn, you will yawn. Now, you won't yawn all the time if you don't have a connection with them. But even if you have a little bit of connection with someone, if they start laughing and they're laughing and, it will make you want to laugh. You will have no logical understanding of why you're laughing. It's just that laughter is contagious. But that is not the Spirit of the Most High. Yawning is not the Spirit of the Most High. And so laughing is not the Spirit of the Most High. So this foolishness, it's exactly that.
Be blessed! Be blessed! Be blessed!
Yeah, be blessed, wave your hand, and look at the people like monkeys. Look at this, look at this, look at this. And these people think that I don't know, maybe they feel like since they're letting their inner child out, it's like once they know that the attention is on them, this is ridiculous. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Are you serious? And so people drop lots of offering because, the Spirit really did. Ooh, the Spirit really did. The guy's like, look at me, look at me, look at me. Look at me, look at me. Look at me.
Hallelujah. You might as well get in and enjoy it. Might as well get in and
Yeah,
enjoy it.
yeah.
Might as well get in
And so they all supposed to be knocked out now. They all supposed to be knocked out.
Might as well get in and enjoy it. Might as well get in and enjoy it. Might as well get in and enjoy it. Might as well get in and enjoy it.
And people like, okay, he's coming, I gotta fall out. He coming, when he touch me, I gotta fall out.
Might as well get in and enjoy it. Might as well get in and enjoy it.
Yeah, you know what? I've had enough. I have absolutely had enough. And I'm just gonna tell you, all I have to say is that's crazy. Now, let me just simply say this. I couldn't take any more of that. I couldn't. That was just absolutely foolishness. But at the same time, we cannot be so gullible as a people to just accept something on the guise of, it's spiritual. And now listen, there are some things that other people do that is just as crazy as what we just watched. So with that being the case, maybe the note is, or maybe the underlying theme of this is, you have to make sure that your brand of spirituality is not something that is made up. It's not faddish. It's not, ooh, look at me. Because I noticed that a lot of those people, they did not react until they knew that they were on camera and they knew that he was in front of them and he touched them. If this was real, then how come none of that happened until he touched them? And I know someone say, well, that was the Spirit. That was the Spirit. No, that was not the Spirit of God. That was not the Spirit of the Most High. Okay? You will not find in the Tanakh where those who the Most High dealt with, all they did is laugh. All they did is laugh. No, he said that, you know what? In Numbers, when the Most High took the Spirit that was upon Moshe and put it upon the 70 elders, they began to prophesy, meaning they began to speak the word of the Most High and that which was true. All they did was just laugh, ha ha ha, fall all over and kick and, look at me, look what I can do. That is not the Spirit of the Most High. I know some would say, well, you're being very judgmental, but I have to say, there should be evidence to things. It is the spirit of the dog within the dog that makes the dog want to bark, that makes him want to chew on balls, little balls, and fetch sticks and so forth and so on. Yeah, it is a mockery. Wakers 13, peace and blessings to you. It is a mockery of the true presence of the Most High that is orderly and that is constructive in his interplay, if you will, with humanity. This is not the Spirit of the Most High. This is man-made religion. It's man-made righteousness. It's man-made. It's their own dogma and their own quote-unquote move. And with that being said, hey, that was just simply crazy. All right, but enough of the craziness. When I come back, we are going to enter into another segment. And I just want to say that some of your comments are very true. Yes, it was disturbing. Yes, it was pure mockery. And it is a mockery against the truth and the indwelling of the Most High and the righteousness and the intelligence that he gives us. It is a mockery against all of that, right? And yes, I agree. It is disturbing. It is disturbing. With that being the case, yeah, I'm not even going to comment anymore on the craziness. But when I come back, we're going to enter into another segment. And so, hey, for this particular segment, what we're going to do is we're actually going to get into, we're going for it. We're going into the controversial corner. Yes. And I hear you, my brother Gilbert. In relationship to the last segment, that's just crazy. My brother Gilbert said, I can say that there were times I did it because I didn't want to feel left out or evil, so I played along. Listen, I've been in church, grew up in church all my life. Me too. I'll never forget this one evangelist got so mad at me because she laid her hands on me and I didn't fall out. And she said, "Oh, he got a spirit. Oh, what's the matter with him? He's a strange spirit." Because I wouldn't, fall on the ground and act like everyone else was acting. I got tired of the theatrics in the church, and so, they would label me whatever they wanted to label me, but I was not going to pretend as if I was falling out, and I really wasn't. Okay? So they didn't like me for that, but guess what? I do not care. But hey, here we go. Hey, Brother Gilbert, I'm just letting you know I've been there too. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to stop pretending like I'm feeling this and wobbling all over. I'm going to stop doing that, and I did, and they didn't like me for it. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Israel never felt anything, but you acting, because they're expecting you to act that way, right? And I'm gonna tell you this, because I've been on both sides of the fence. When you do that for the preacher, for the evangelist, they're the one that's getting a little boost out of it. Like, oh man, look at the power flowing through me. And it's just one of those things that, hey, I refuse to play with. I refuse. So, hey, here we go, going into the controversial corner.
We, as a population on this planet, have been looking for a savior. 90% of people believe in a higher power, and every religion believes in some sort of messianic figure. And when this savior character actually comes to earth, we want to make him abide by our rules. We have always created icons in our own image. What we've done is we project ourselves onto him. The fact is, maybe he's not some sort of devil or Jesus character. Maybe he's just a guy trying to do the right thing.
So let's talk about it for a second, because in the controversial corner, I want to talk about the fact that in the beginning of this, the gentleman said that the whole world is looking for a savior. And this is superimposed way back on the first century. I'm talking about the the so-called first century during the time of Yeshua ben Yosef. It is said that the whole world was looking for a savior. Well, the historical evidence would show that there weren't people all over the world looking for a savior. The only people that were looking for a savior were the Judeans, if you will, the Yahudi, who were looking for someone who would come and rescue them from the Roman occupation. And with that being the case, the world was not looking for a savior, but Israel was looking for a savior, and Israel alone. But you'll notice here that as we look at the figure that they give us as the quote-unquote savior, or even one who is painted in a messianic light, he is the son of Uriel. He's, he draws his strength from the sun, the yellow sun in our particular planet. And what many people don't know is that Superman has a lineage. Superman has a lineage, and his lineage go back to two notable characters, JC in the Bible and Heru of ancient Kemet. And so it is said that because Superman draws his strength from the sun, that he himself is nothing more than a typology, or the latest, greatest depiction of Heru of ancient Kemet, and or him being the another image of JC. In fact, in one of the latest movies, peace and blessings to you, Chris. Glad that you're here. Yeah, Chris, I think I know who you are. Glad that you are here. When you look at Superman, Superman actually has a lineage that connects to JC and also Heru of ancient Kemet. And because he draws his strength from the sun, it does draw parallels between Heru, who was a son of Ra being the sun. When you take a look at Superman, he has a lineage that comes from JC and also that comes for Heru. Well, in one of the later, one of the Superman movies that, I forget the year that this was in, but anyway, it was one of his latest Superman movies where they wanted to show how powerful and how strong he was. So they actually showed where someone tried to shoot Superman with a .50 caliber bullet in the eye. And so the slow motion comes in, the 50 caliber bullet is going towards his eye, and lo and behold, the most delicate part of this so-called, demigod or superhuman being deflects, I mean, it's not even touched by this, this 50 caliber bullet, and he's just so, so powerful, so strong. And these are, you could say that they're subliminal messages, but if you notice, Superman, the image of Superman, it is so apropos to what you see in the JC figure that has been presented to us in our modern times, and even what they would like for us to believe about Haru. Mainly, what we need to understand is that, and let me touch upon this point in the controversial corner. It is impossible. I'm going to make this statement. It is impossible for an individual to have a spiritual experience. Hear me now, without them going beyond the confines of their normal mind and normal way of thinking. You have to go beyond, you have to go above what you know in your consciousness and become super conscious, if you will, in order to connect with the Most High. In other words, you have to be elevated. You can't be in this lower plane, lower vibration, in this lower state and expect to connect with the Most High. This is something that Yaakov saw when he anointed the place and called it Bethel. The heavens opened up before him, and he saw before him a plateau, if you will, one foundation upon another. You would call them stair steps. They were called almost like the hanging gardens of Babylon, where you had a foundation, then you had an elevation and a whole nother foundation, like the earth had risen. And it would be it wasn't a step like a ladder. They call it Jacob's ladder because they're trying to give you the idea that there was one foundation upon another, which is what a ladder is. It's just one foundation built upon another that's held together by two rails. And with that, you go up. Well, what Jacob saw was he saw the stations of angels, or the stations of the B'nai Elohim, and all of their different spiritual strata, okay? And he saw them, and he saw all the way up to the level of where the Most High was, and he said, you know what? I have seen the Most High. He anointed the place, and he spoke to the Most High and said, look, if you bring me back, if you with me and you bring me back before my people, and so forth and so on. And so he made a covenant with the Most High that day. Well, the issue of it is that when you take a look, and when you look at spirituality and truly connecting with the Most High, you go beyond yourself, you go out of yourself, and in essence what you're doing is you're going from the lowest level to the highest level into the presence of the Most High. And guess what will bring you into the presence of the Most High quicker than anything? It is called praise. Praise, you have to look at it. If you want to consider this ladder and these different foundations and moving upward, think of praise as an elevator that takes you to the penthouse where the Most High is. He says, hey, I inhabit the praises of my people. And so for us to enter into the presence of the Most High, all we have to do is synchronize our heart, our mind, and make sure that we are ready to praise Him. We got all the garbage out of the way. This is why we pray the way that we do when we come on this channel. We make sure that we get things right with ourselves. We make sure that we get things right with others. And then we can freely enter into the presence of the Most High and connect with one another. That's why we begin our times together the way that we do here on Shabbat Morning Coffee. So with that being the case, I simply want to say that when we take a look at a Superman, we're taking a look then at a mythological character that has the intent of having a spiritual effect on those that would see, on those that would understand, and on those that would partake of that fantasy. Yes, it is designed to bring a person into a spiritual experience. In this particular case, Superman is designed to bring people into an understanding and an entanglement with Christianity itself. Now, there are other superheroes, if you will, which, by the way, the whole, superhero characters in the comics, you have to understand what these things are. These things are nothing more than mythologies told in cartoon form, whose intent are to yield a level of spirituality. Okay? Cartoons are a mythological display in cartoon that's designed to take you into a spiritual experience. Okay? When I say this, as I say this, I pray that you never look at a cartoon the same way again. I pray that you never look at a comic the same way again, because these are mythologies. These are mythological characters. And again, they are designed to take you into a spiritual experience. There's more that I could say about that. Repentant and Save said, Jermaine said back in 2021, when he was so high off his rocker, Yah told him he would surely die if he continues smoking weed. He ran downstairs scared out of his mind and threw all his supplies away. He ain't never smoked. People have had some experiences. Yeah, people have had some experiences that were induced chemically, true enough. And there are some people that stand behind that. And by the way, let me say this. And before I get back into what I'm talking about here in the controversial corner, there are people who swear by chemical-induced states of spirituality. Is even to the point that you talk about weed, repentant and save. Well, they found in some of the temples of Baal that in the actual sacrificial place and in their Holy of Holies, there was an altar where they used to burn, guess what? They would burn weed, they would burn marijuana, Mary Jane, whatever you want to call it, okay? Take some of that loud and put it on the altar, burn it for everybody, breathe deep, y'all. And so this was a part of their spiritual experience. When you look at even Joseph, okay, Joseph in Mitzrayim, when he was in Egypt, he would use wine as a contact point for his divinations. In other words, he was drinking, and he would drink himself into a state whereby he would be able to, quote unquote, divine what the truth is. In other words, be able to hear from his version of the Most High by means of wine. Okay. Long story short, Israel, I also heard about mushrooms, right? I heard about mushrooms as well. And these things are designed to take you into a spiritual experience. I'm going to say something here in the controversial corner that, you're really going to have to think about, okay? You're really going to have to think about. And you'll understand how the African literary motif of the Tanakh is the way that it is. And why you can't look at the Tanakh with a Western mind filled with, rules and regulations regarding the empirical sciences, okay? This is why you can't measure it in a test tube. Our people understood way back since time immemorial that in order for you to have a spiritual experience, you need a mythological experience. I'll say that again. In order for an individual to have a spiritual experience, they needed a mythological experience. And what do I mean by that? They needed something that would take them out of the regular everyday mind and bring them into that higher state of consciousness. And as we've stated, some people have said, you know what? Hey, we'll use drugs, we'll use weed, we'll use this, we'll use that, right? And I'm not even going to talk about those who use sexual activity by means of working sexual witchcraft. Yeah, that is a thing, by the way. That is a thing. There's individuals who will do certain things to get into that heightened state of spirituality because they're trying to touch the Most High. They're trying to go beyond themselves. And so their level of mythological interaction, whether it started with drugs or with alcohol or with whatever, they intend to get out of their everyday waking mind and to elevate their consciousness, and so that they might climb that ladder and touch the Most High. But people do and must have a mythological experience, and so then that brings us right into this place to where we see mythological characters, and we see those who are designed to bring us spiritually back to a foundation, like Superman brings us to Christianity.
This was a clip from the movie Batman vs. Superman, made in 2016. I remember when I saw this clip, it was very clear that they were talking about the coming Antichrist. They were using Superman as a mental conditioning and preparation for the coming false Messiah.
And while this is a discussion on the false Messiah, I simply wanted to take you into this and give you an understanding regarding mythology and having a spiritual experience, as well as watching out for how when you entertain certain mythologies and certain cartoons, yeah, you're actually entering into someone else's spirituality. So hey, this is controversial. This is and has been the controversial corner. So hey, we just want you to be careful. Be right back. Now is the time that we'll answer questions, and we will also, you know what, we'll take a look at your comments. Yes, we'll take a look at your comments, and we will answer your questions regarding, the controversial corner. Yeah, Tessayah, there is such a thing as sexual witchcraft. There is such a thing. And by the way, I mean, if you think that's something, there's also Christian witchcraft, where they actually take the Bible and the New Testament and they work witchcraft with it. They use names of power. They use certain stones and certain herbs here and there. This is a thing. This is true. In fact, when you look at the religion of Voodoo is a blend of, not like Santeria. I regard Santeria as more of a mixture of Catholicism and the Orishas. I look at Voodoo as a mixture of Catholicism and African spirituality generally, okay? There's a little bit of Ifa in there as well, but I just look at it, because I haven't ever dived deep into it, that's the way that I look at it. But there is definitely sexual witchcraft. And the thought is that with two people coming together, if they can create life and create a human being, then you can create other things, right? In other words, if you can create a human being, then you ought to be able to create something else. And so they use sexuality as a medium for witchcraft. And so this is what they do. Well, I don't see any questions. I'm going to give it just a minute, and then we're going to go into our next segment. And we're going to give you just a minute when I come back. Yeah, we're going to do this, and then, hey, if we don't have any comments or questions, we'll move to our next segment. All right, it is time for our next segment. And thank you, my brother Gilbert. Hey, we are going to go into our next segment, and I wonder what segment is that going to be? Okay, you know what? I want to get into, and by the way, you all have done this to me like a couple of times today, and it's okay. It's okay. Hugs for everyone. But Tessa, you said you what you're saying makes me want to get back into this topic. Oh, it makes me want to go back. Tessa says Christianity itself feels like witchcraft. I honestly believe you are under a spell, if not being able to see the truth, because people fight so hard for their deity. I'm only going to mention this, and then we are going to get into the next segment. I promise. In fact, 30 seconds. If you give me 30 seconds, we're going to enter into the next lesson. The reason why they fight so hard for their deity is because they have created an egregore. Now, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. They've created an egregore. Here's how it happens. I'm going to give you just a real quick snapshot of it. We're made in the image and the likeness of the Most High, right? So what did the Most High do? He formed man, right? But then he breathed into man his spirit, and he gave it life. What the Most High did in that moment was he actually, hear me, he splintered his consciousness, and he lent to the lump of clay, which would become man. He lent and breathed into that lump of clay of his spirit, which is why in ancient times, wind and spirit were synonymous. To say one was to say the same thing, because when the Most High blew into man, he actually imparted his spirit into man, therefore kind of splintering off, taking a little piece of his spirit and embedding it within the clay. Well, this has become an actual spiritual practice of many, which was also seen in The Golden Child, the movie with Eddie Murphy, and also it's also what we do when we, in heightened emotion, give our focus and our adoration unto something and someone else. It sets up in what's called an egregore, and this becomes a living entity in the realms of, if you want to say the psycho-spiritual realm. It becomes a thing, a real thing in that domain, in that spiritual universe. And the more you feed into it, the stronger it gets. And wait for it, when you try to leave it, it's like it develops its own consciousness, because it comes from you, so it knows the way that you think. So when you try to leave it, there are lots of emotions that'll come into play. You have to defend it. You don't want to leave it. You're afraid to leave it. These are all interactions between individuals and their egregore. And when you get, there's a difference between a pendulum and an egregore, but listen, I don't want to get into all of that. Suffice it to say, when you collectively with a group of people do the same thing and create the same egregore, then you've made it stronger, and you've actually established a spiritual idol in the realms of the spirit. So now we are going to get, I told you, I'm going to leave that alone. We're going to get into our next segment. Here we go. How Hebrew are you? First question. In fact, let me back up. You know what? We need to introduce the topic. What is the topic? Do you know the sons of God or the angels? Do you know about the sons of God, the B'nai Elohim, or the angels? Question number one. How Hebrew are you? The angels were created on the fourth day along with the sun, moon, and stars as luminaries. Is the correct response A? This is certainly not true because God spoke to them when creating us. Or is the correct response B? This isn't true because they are flames of fire like suns in the sky. Or is the correct answer C? This is true because stars are gas like wind, and that means spirit too. Or is the correct response D? This is simply not true because angels are created for space travel to get them from heaven to earth. Which of these is true, and who will weigh in first? It's All Good weighs in first with A. This is certainly not true because God spoke to them when creating us. George Evans says A. Jermaine Deacle says A. J&P TV, Smoking in the Smokies, says A. Gilbert St. John says A. I think I'm seeing a trend here. Yeshua Yaonli Cooper says A. Kanaya Israel says A. What is the correct answer? What is the correct answer? Does anyone else want to weigh in? Going once, going twice. How Hebrew are you? The answer is, yeah, you were right. The answer is A. The angels were created on the fourth day along with the sun, moon, and stars as luminaries. A. This is certainly not true because Elohim spoke to them when creating us. And the scripture for this is in Genesis 1:1, where it says, and Elohim said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. There's also another scripture found in Job 38:7, which states that when the Most High made the heaven and the earth, yes, the sons of God shouted together for joy. A is the correct answer. Question number 2. Question number 2 is coming right up. Right, sorry about that. We do have a question. We do have an issue with question number 2. Let me repair it real quick because I want to give you question number 2. Hold on, okay? Hold on, everybody. We're going to get question number 2 for you. Be right back.
Hi, I'm Melchior Uriel, and I'm so delighted to meet you. I'm glad that you stopped by. I'm glad that you're curious, and I'm glad that you clicked on the video.
increasing numbers of Hebrew Israelites all over the world, from Asia to Africa, from Mexico to Germany. There are Hebrew Israelites that are coming together as a nation and as a family, and you are needed. You are needed to take your place as the educator of your families, your sons, your daughters. So we want you to enroll in Navi Beit University so that you can take your place in the kingdom. Now is the time to prepare to create Hebraically centered scholarly materials to educate others, to teach your family, to teach your sons, your daughters, to teach the young, to teach the old, and to bring them into the knowledge of the Most High. The Most High is gathering us together as He has promised. So enroll in Navi Beit University, connect with the administrator and the registrars, and enroll today for just $35 for a bachelor's per month, or $45 for a master's, or even enroll in the doctorate's program. You can get a degree with a Hebraic focus at Navi Beit University. Hebraic education, undergraduate, graduate, and specialty courses. All right, back to How Hebrew Are You? Question number 2. How Hebrew are you? The B'nai Elohim are a part of the council of the Most High, and He asked them questions concerning spiritual missions. He asked them questions concerning spiritual missions. Is the correct response A? Is the correct response B? Is the correct response C? Or is the correct response B? Or D? Or is it E? What is the correct response? Is the correct response A, which says, this is not true because Yah does not need to ask anyone anything? Or is the correct response B, this is true and there is scriptural proof too? Or is the correct response C, which would say, this is not true. The Most High never sends an angel to go on missions? Or would the correct response be D? Would it be D, which reads, this is true only because God had to replace the angel Satan stole. He had to replace the angels that Satan stole. Or is the correct answer E? This is true because Jesus said He saw Satan fall like lightning. What is the correct response? What is the truth regarding this? How Hebrew are you? What is the correct answer? Let's see who's weighing in. Let's see who's weighing in with what answer. Oh, we have some smart people in here. It's all good. Starts us out with a B. Yeshua Yaonli Cooper says B. Bergen Paris and Hanaya Israel says B. Jermaine Deacle gives us another B. JP TV, Smoking in the Smoky, says A. Repentant and Saved says B. Tessa Yah says B. Christine Croning says B. What is the correct answer? Ah, it's Penny. So, what is the correct answer? The correct answer to question number 2 is, drumroll, The correct answer is B. This is true, and there is scriptural proof. Comes from 1 Kings chapter 22, verses 20 through 22. What does it read? And Yah said, who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said on this manner, and another said on that. And there came forth a spirit and stood before Yah and said, I will persuade him. And Yah said unto him, wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, you shall persuade him, and prevail also. Go forth and do so. B is the correct answer. Congratulations to all of you that have the correct answer. The next question. Question number 4. How Hebrew are you? The angels or B'nai Elohim are perfect and can never do anything wrong. They obey the Most High automatically. They obey the Most High automatically. And on the last answer, you are correct. Repentant and saved. Job verses 2 and 1, as well as 1 and 6, do state the same thing. It talks about the council, yes. But this question is, the angels or B'nai Elohim are perfect and can never do anything wrong. They obey the Most High automatically. What is the correct response? This is true because they are like God and created in His presence is the correct response. B, this is true because Moses also saw angels when he saw Elohim. Or is it C, this is only true because God made them perfect? Or is it D, this is true? Or is it E, this is not true? So we have, I'm seeing, okay, I see here that we have an E from It's All Good. It's All Good starts us out with an E. And then we have Jermaine Deacle with an E. And you know what? We have the missus chiming in with an E, Repentant and Save. Tessa Yah gives us an E. Hanaya Israel gives us an E. And Yeshua Yaonli Cooper gives us an E. George Evans an E. Looks like we have a consensus of E's. And let's see. Did we get a weigh-in from Penny? Did we get a weigh-in? Let's see. Or did I miss it? JNP TV says B. I'm sorry, D. Okay. Christine Cronin gives us an E. What is the correct answer? What is the correct answer to this? Well, the answer to question number 3 is the correct answer is E. The correct answer is E. The angels or B'nai Elohim are perfect and can never do anything wrong. They obey the Most High automatically. Scripture, Job 4:18. Behold, he puts no trust in his servants, and his angels he charges them with folly. Job 15:15. Behold, he puts no trust in his saints. Yea, the heavens are not clean in his sight. So congratulations to all of you that got, and yeah, those of you that have the correct answer. Question number 4. How Hebrew are you? The Most High commands the B'nai Elohim to accompany us, watch over us, and protect us. They may even affect our destiny. They may even affect our destiny. Is that true? Is the correct response A? This is ridiculous. Only the Most High can speak into our destiny like that. Is the correct response B? This is scary but true. Is the correct answer C? No. If this were true, it would be in the Tanakh, and I don't see it. Is the correct answer D? This is not true, or is the correct response E? This is not true because the Tanakh says nothing about this. What is the correct answer? Oh, I see it already. It's all good starts us out with a B. Kanai Israel follows with another B. Bergen Paris gives us an actual B. And George Evans also says B. Gilbert St. John says B. Tessa Ya comes in with a B. Oh my goodness, how can this be that everyone is coming up with the same answer? Okay, all right, fine. Corny joke. Okay, Penny says, hey, I'm copying off you guys today. B. What is the correct answer? Is there anyone else that wants to weigh in? What is the answer? Drum roll. The answer is... There's many of you that knew it already. The answer is B. This is scary but true. What scriptures do we have? Well, we have Psalm 34:7, which reads, the angel of Yah encamped round about them that fear him and delivers them. That's the protection part and the watching over part. But look at Daniel. Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand of the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High rules in the kingdoms of men and gives to whomsoever he will and sets them up over it, even the basest of men. Well, all right, peace and blessings to those of you that have had, those of you that had the correct answer. I applaud you. I commend you. I am so glad that you got the right answers. I'm glad. Now, listen, I'm running out of product, so I can only send, I need you to email me and tell me which of my books you want, okay? Need you to tell me if you want the Hebrew Alphabet for Life and Business, or if you'd rather have African Hebrews in America, an ontological observation, or if you'd rather have, the Hebrew Alphabet memorization course, okay? If you'd rather have that, hey, do email me. It's all good. You are the first with all right answers, and so, of course, you get the book. And for those of you that I don't know who the first one was last week. I'm not sure who the first one was last week. But if you could email me if you were the first one. My brother Bergen Paris says, hey, I'd rather have one of your food dishes. And man, thank you, my brother. I appreciate that. I need to cook something, y'all, tomorrow. Christine Croning says that she got it all correct. Okay. I've had to kind of like tweak it a little bit because I'm running out of product. I want to give the gift out to the first one that had all the right answers. I apologize, but I'm running out of books, y'all. And I don't want to cheat anyone though, so I will send it to you. Just email me, okay? Email me. And what we're gonna do when I come back is we're gonna go. The first one, Yeshua Yaonli Cooper, the first one to get all the questions right. Okay? So, all right, when I come back, we're going to go right into another segment, and I'm glad that you enjoy it, Tessa Yah. We'll be right back. All right, here we are. Okay, I do see a question in the chat room. My sister Repentant and Save asked the question. Says, well, can we buy it? Well, of course you can. It's on Amazon. And if you type my name into, in fact, let me do this. Let me just, for those of you that don't mind me showing you, I will show you right here, right now. All you have to do is go to Amazon. You can type in my name, MALKIYAHURIEL. Do a search, and guess what comes up? The books that I have written, the books that I am even offering for you to give away right now. So, African Hebrews in America, the first one, of course, was the Hebrew alphabet for beginners. And the second one is the African Hebrews in America, an ontological observation. And then, of course, there is the Hebrew alphabet for life and for business. For life and for business. So, yes, you can. And, I appreciate it. Everything goes towards our particular project and what we are doing. And so, there you go. All you have to do is go to Amazon. And there's other outlets as well. But usually you can get it quicker with Amazon. So, all right, that's that. I want to go into our next segment. What is our next segment? What could that possibly be? Well, I shared with you that we're going to do a new segment. And this new segment is, Hebrew money. In this section of Hebrew money, I want to take a look at, I'm taking a look at all the aspects of Hebrew living and Hebrew life. And in this particular time of exile, as we're here, scattered all over the place, we really do need to discuss how we should operate when it comes to finances and when it comes to money. It can be a challenge because many of us, now that we understand that we're Hebrews, we understand that information was hidden from us, and we did not know how to operate as Hebrews when it comes to money. When it comes to our finances, many of us, we weren't taught in the home how to do anything concerning finances. We weren't taught to invest. We weren't taught how to plan for a retirement. We weren't taught even how to buy our own homes. Owning our own homes has become a fantasy for so many because of financial hardships and because of financial difficulties. In this segment of Hebrew money, I want to share with you some things that are pertinent to us understanding the playing field as it relates to us as Hebrews when it comes to dealing with money. There is a mindset that we are to embrace. There's a mindset that we need to make sure that we hold on to, and that we actually, stand firm in what the Most High has given unto us. And with that being the case, there's a couple of scriptures that I want to go to that will help us when it comes to money, when it comes to dealing. And where we should start? Well, we should actually start, if you don't mind, start with the miniature version of the covenant, which we find in the Ten Commandments. Well, what does that have to do with our money? What does that have to do with our finances? You'll find that it has a lot to do with it when you consider what's being stated. Notice, if you will, the eighth, actually, not just the eighth, but also the seventh commandment deals with the economics of your home, as well as, believe it or not, the eighth commandment also deals with the economics of your home. But also, if you notice, it also continues with the next two, because they have ramifications. They affect the economy of our homes when we're put into these kind of situations. So let's talk about it. One, if you notice in verse number 14, Exodus 20 and 14, it says, "You shall not commit adultery." What does that have to do with finances, and what does that have to do with money? Well, it has to do with the economy of the home and the way that the Hebrew home is established. It's established in a way that everyone plays their part, everyone has a role, everyone is significant, everyone is an integral part of this machine called the Hebrew home. And in order for it to work properly, everything has to be in its place. Well, when adultery happens, someone is taken out of their place and possibly have to suffer the criminal, the criminal sentence of capital punishment. But when they're taken out of their place, they can no longer function, and the economy of the home suffers. Therefore, a level of righteousness is necessary if you are going to be financially responsible and financially fit before the Most High. When things are created with balance and with truth and with equity and integrity in the Hebrew home, everything is accounted for. If you notice, it even begins, and economics can even be seen in verse number 12. In verse number 12, there is an economic backdrop to honoring your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God gives you, which Yah your Elohim gives unto you. You honor your mother and your father, meaning that you actually provide for them and that you actually give unto them financially, monetarily. This affects the finances of the parents, because they then, in their old age, rather than having a 401k or a Roth IRA or any other kind of instrument, financial instrument for their retirement, they have every member of their immediate family contributing to them financially for their upkeep and for their well-being. It is the ancient Hebrew home that remained together. The grandmother and grandfather were often in the homes if they did not yet have still their own home. They were oftentimes in the homes of one of their children. And so with that being stated, just like Job, who, even though he was not Hebrew, he did show the culture of the day, which meant that he had a home with his wife, and then his children had their own separate homes. When it comes to honoring your mother and your father, we are to honor them monetarily, even take care of them. And in so doing, it affects their finances and their old age and acts as a retirement package for the mother and for the father. Now, it is because of this that many looked at having sons and daughters and having a great number of them to be a blessing, because in their old age they would be taken care of and they would be honored under the Hebrew system. Not only that, but as we continue from verse number 12, we also see in verse number 14, and by the way, of course, verse number 13, thou shalt not kill, also affects the economy of the Hebrew home. But it says that you shall not commit adultery. Again, when a member of the family is taken out of their place, it affects the economics of the home, and things are off balance and must maintain a balance. You shall not steal. To steal affects the economy most immediately, because that one had is no longer there and it no longer belongs to them. So therefore, the net worth of the individual is decreased because someone has stolen from them, which means that someone has gotten something that they did not earn, something that they did not deserve, and that affects your immediate economy. So what also affects the economy, as I just stated, I don't know if you caught it or not, but I will restate it. Stealing is someone receiving something that they did not earn and that they did not deserve. That being the case, even when someone steals from you, right, that takes place. But guess what? When you give money to individuals that do not deserve it and that did not earn it, you are committing theft against yourself. I'll say it again. When you give money to individuals that did not earn it and do not deserve it, then you are stealing money from yourself. Also, as well, when you take a look at the last commandment, the 10th commandment, it reads that guess what? You will not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Now, the reason why this also affects us financially is because when an individual stands in court and let's say they testify against their neighbor, something that is concerning the law, like someone falsely testifies as a witness in a court of law and says, I saw him steal from his neighbor. If someone does that, then the judgment would be, guess what? That they have to restore the price of what they have taken 2 times over. So if it's something, let's say it's something that is worth $200 that was stolen, and you have a case and someone lies and says, I saw him steal that $200 object, you then are liable for $400 out of your pocket to pay as restitution for what someone said that you stole. So bearing false witness does indeed, it does have everything to do with our economy as a Hebrew people, which is why we speak the truth. We do not bear false witness in adjudication or a court of law. We do not steal from anyone. We know that the Most High has our own blessings in store for us. We do not commit adultery. We do not disturb the ecosystem of the home, the holy, sanctified ecosystem of the home. We do not disturb that. We will not commit adultery. And we will honor our mother and our father all the days of our life. But to boot, there's more to be said about Hebrew money. Because when it comes to Hebrew money, we understand, again, that we have our own. Let's consider Abraham, if you will, and what Abraham said when it came to dealing with finances and what he should receive and what he should get. Notice what we read here in Bereshit, Genesis chapter 14, verse 21. And the king of Sodom, said unto Abraham, give me the persons and take the goods to thyself. And Abraham said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up mine hand unto Yah, the Most High, El Elyon, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from you a thread, even to a shoelace, and that I will not take anything that is yours, lest you should say, I'm the one that made Abram rich. And he said, just give me the food that the young men have eaten, and give me my people, right? But he said, hey, other than that, I'm gone. Abram said, I don't want anything of yours because I have my own blessings. When we know this for a fact, we won't be envious of others, and we'll understand that if we cooperate with the Most High, do what he says, he will bless us monetarily. He will bless you financially. Now, this is not a get-rich-quick gospel or a prosperity preaching, no, this has nothing to do with that. This is simply the truth that we walk in the covenant with the Most High, and the Most High has sworn that he would bless us. Remember what he said, that we'd be blessed coming in, we'd be blessed going out, we'd be blessed in the city and blessed in the field. Those two have economic ramifications, because when you're in the field is when you're planting. And then when you take your goods to the market in the city to sell it, then yes, you are blessed there as well. And the Most High said that, you know what, he would bless us as a sign of us walking in the covenant. We're almost done with this segment, but before I let you go, I have to share this with you. This is a verse of scripture that shows us that our economy is important even to the establishment of our homes. Notice what it reads: through wisdom is a house built, and by understanding it is established, and by knowledge shall the chambers be filled, or the rooms be filled, with all precious and pleasant riches. But what I like the way that it reads in the New Living Translation. It says, a house is built by wisdom and becomes strong through good or common sense. Through knowledge, its rooms are filled with all sorts of precious riches and valuables. And when you have valuables, you need to understand this simple truth, which simply says, in the house of the righteous is much treasure. Now we understand that these treasures can be more than monetary goods. They can be more than greenbacks. They can be more, right? If you have your health, your strength, your family, your loved ones, and you've got a place to stay, you've got hot food every day, you have peace in your heart, no stress, you are a rich person. But keep in mind, the Most High will not stop there. He will not stop there. He will definitely bless you above and beyond your wildest dreams, and he will, as he is sworn to do, to make you prosper. For it is he who gives you, according to Deuteronomy 8 and 18, he is the one who gives you the power to get wealth. And so those of you that walk in the covenant, it is a sign of you walking in the covenant when you are blessed of the Most High. What has to happen many a times is that we end up developing habits that take away from our ability to be blessed, and so we struggle. But the Most High wants you to know that you are meant to be blessed, you are meant to be prosperous, and the Most High has already put the answer right in front of you. This is the first segment of Hebrew money, and we will continue to talk about Hebrew money and to show you how to do and how to take your money and how to plant your money and how to build a future for yourself financially, as well as get out of debt, which is very important to the Hebrew and to the Hebrew family. So with that being stated, hey, we'll be right back and we'll open it up for questions regarding this segment, Hebrew money. Now's the time that we can ask our questions concerning this segment which is called Hebrew money. That's right, this segment which is called Hebrew money. We can ask our questions right now. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to the chat room. We're going to see who's asking questions about this segment of Hebrew money. Let's see. Who's up? Who's up? Who's talking to us? What's going on here? Okay, let's take a look. All right, so as we take a look here, we're talking about Hebrew money. And so, I love this. Kanai Israel says, she says, I love it. This is what I've been focusing on. She says, I've been investing. I've built my portfolio. All praises to the Most High. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. It's all good, ask the question. If you are not against cryptocurrency, I'd like to share some things with the family sometime. I would love to talk with you about that. Even one-on-one, because I began having a conversation with my son about us creating a cryptocurrency for the Hebrew, us having our own cryptocurrency, right? And that is something I would like to discuss. That is something that I do want to see come to pass. And me within myself, I don't have all the means to make that happen by myself. But I want to connect with those who have the knowledge so that we can make that happen. I would love for us to have our own currency and our ability to buy that is not connected to this world system. That being the case, let me look at some of these other comments. So I'm saying it's all good. I would love to have a conversation with you about that. If I could get my brother Bergen Paris to put my email address in the chat, I welcome a conversation with you all. Yeah, thank you, Repentant and Saved. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, that would be awesome. Definitely. Our own currency. Yes. Yes. My sister Repentant and Saved says we are already starting to invest in crypto. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, all right. I'm looking for any questions or comments that you have. I'll wait for just a little bit longer. Then we will get into our next segment. Okay? I'm going to give it just a minute. Okay, and we'll be right back. Let me stall for a second. I'm going to give you all a minute to get whatever questions or comments you have, and then we'll go to our next segment.
Hi, I'm Melchior Uriel, and I'm so delighted to meet you. I'm glad that you stopped by. I'm glad that you're curious, and I'm glad that you clicked on the video.
All right, we do have a question. This comes from Repented and Saved. And this comes to us from Repented and Saved. She says, do you think we will, she says, do you think we really are on the brink of war? War is something that definitely affects us economically as Hebrews. And I think that there's definitely some contentions coming. And I think that more importantly, like here, locally in the United States, I think that you're going to see a great deal of friction, if you will, against the far right and the far left, meaning the liberals and the conservatives. I think you're going to see such, in fact, it's already been mentioned. It's been hinted at and it's been mentioned that as long as the far left, the liberals, do not fight against the far right and seeking abortions and so forth and so on, basically they're saying, don't start nothing and there won't be any, okay? But if you start something, then we're going to finish it. And so there's already a threat that the far right is issuing out to the far left. They're saying, hey, we're in power, and if you come against us, we will squash you. I think that there is going to be somewhat like a civil war, so to speak. And those of us who call ourselves, those of us who consider ourselves conservatives, and we're on the far right, and subsequently voted for the person that's in power now, hey, we're going to have to second guess that thing and ask ourselves, what are we trying to conserve, right? With that being the case, I simply want to say, at this particular point, I really do believe that there is going to be some kind of contention. Now, there's also the idea that Russia is going to make some strong moves that will inevitably come about to being a war, right? At this particular point, I think that because the present person in power is a puppet of Russia and is in Putin's back pocket, I think that that's not going to take place right now. I think that Russia's going to try to use the United States as much as possible with their person in power, and that they're going to take advantage of that. And then it's going to be those who come after the present person that's in power, and they're going to make changes, and then you will see a lot, you see a lot more waves happening and coming. But it is possible that there are some contentions coming, definitely. I think it's going to start between the far left and the far right. It's going to be more of a civil unrest kind of a situation. But the real national dangers, I think those may be forthcoming in some years down the road. But in a sense, I do believe that it's inevitable because the United States has a lot to pay for, and I think that that's going to begin really, really soon. So now we know who It's All Good is, okay? My brother Adrian. I was about to ask, man, where's Adrian? Yo? Where's Adrian? But all right. Glad that you're here, my brother. Glad that you are here. All right, so it looks like we are at the end of this segment. So hey, we will be right back, and then we will go into another segment. There are increasing numbers of Hebrew Israelites all over the world, from Asia to Africa, from Mexico to Germany. There are Hebrew Israelites that are coming together as a nation and as a family, and you are needed. You are needed to take your place as the educator of your families, your sons, your daughters. So we want you to enroll in Navi Beit University so that you can take your place in the kingdom. Now is the time to prepare to create Hebraically centered scholarly materials to educate others, to teach your family, to teach your sons, your daughters, to teach the young, to teach the old, and to bring them into the knowledge of the Most High. The Most High is gathering us together as He has promised. So enroll in Navi Beit University, connect with the administrator and the registrars, and enroll today for just $35 for a bachelor's per month, or $45 for a master's, or even enroll in the doctorate's program. You can get a degree with a Hebraic focus at Navi Beit University. Hebraic education, undergraduate, graduate, and specialty courses. All right, if you give us just a little bit, we'll do our next two segments, and then, hey, we'll skedaddle. But guess what? Hey, I want to talk with you about, here we go. One of the last segments that we're going to have here, we're going to talk about the Scholars Spotlight. All right, in this Scholar Spotlight, we're going to be, I'm going to take a few minutes, and I'm just going to, this is not going to be long at all, but I'm going to take a few minutes, and I want to address the writing and the studies of a particular scholar. Now, the scholar that I want to address today is the author of this book. This book is The Misconceptions and Misinformation by the Black Hebrew Israelites, Volume 1. And this is written by this individual here. Some of you may know him. This is Garfield Reed. And he is a brother in the conscious community. He would say that he's conscious, and so he sought to be a part of the member of the Nation of Islam, but he didn't go fully in. He kind of hung around some of the consciousness movements. And at present, he's involved in Kemetic studies, and he's basically, hey, anything ancient Egypt, he is for it. And so he holds that what we deem to be Hebrew, that basically, hey, all of our stuff is fake, it didn't come from us, and so we're misinforming people, and we are fooling people, if you will, with our misconceptions and our purposed misinformation. Well, now, here's the interesting thing about some of the things that he writes. He actually states in his book, he talks about in chapter 1, and we're going to be paying some attention to this in times to come. But in chapter 1, he mentions some things to us about, the first 11 chapters of Bereshit, that's actually false. It didn't happen. It really is, you got these fake patriarchs and so forth and so on, and it never happened, and that's not true. And with that, I simply want to say that I feel like using a little bit of archaeological kung fu. What do I mean by that? What is archaeological kung fu? It's where you take a finding. For instance, we could even take what I've already shown you by means of the Tel Dan stele, right? We can take that and we can say, hey, let's just take that and that alone, and we can say that because there is proof that David existed, okay, it lends far more credibility to the story and the motif and the narrative. It lends far more credibility to the narrative that the biblical characters did exist, because we see that there is actually proof for Dawid Hamelech and the house of David, as I mentioned earlier in this Shabbat morning coffee. What does that do then to the argument that none of these guys ever existed? It's just like I said earlier, it simply points to the failure of archaeology to find what was once there, or what is believed to have been once there. If you take a look at the fact that because you have the Merenptah stele, or the Meneptah stele as some pronounce it, and you have the Tel Dan stele here, and you also have other things that were found, it just serves to, listen, it serves as a solid foundation to be able to say, because we have the house of David, because we know that Ezekiel lived, because we know that these biblical quote-unquote characters are actually found in archaeology, there is a higher level of probability that the patriarchs that you read of in Genesis, there's a higher level of probability that they truly did exist. It's just that archaeology has not caught up with the truth yet. They were saying that David didn't exist, right? Well, when Brother Garfield comes and he says, hey, none of these guys existed, and he says, well, not only did they not exist, he's saying that the very stories of Genesis 1 through 11, yeah, they came from Greece. They came from the Greeks, and there's a possibility that they're the ones that wrote it first, and that the Hebrews are copying off the Greeks. Now, my issue with that is, if you were just simply going by the writings of the Dead Sea Scrolls and the manuscripts that are found in Q1 through Q11, then, or Q42 even, then you would actually say, hey, you know what? Since the Dead Sea Scrolls are dated roughly anywhere from around 150 to 170 BCE, before the Common Era, and you have the Hellenistic culture being pumped into ancient Israel from 333 BC. In other words, Hellenism had a 200-year jump on the Dead Sea Scrolls. Well, I mean, you could kind of say, well, you know, that might be possible. But here's the problem. The problem is that, as I mentioned, when we find things like the Tel Dan stele, which says, hey, Dawid Hamelech was actually real, we're talking about going all the way back 700 years earlier than when Alexander the Great conquered the known worlds at the time, and then conquered Judea in 333 BC, 333 to 335 before the Common Era. You could say that, but now when you look at the fact that 700 years, there is no way that we could have evidence of there being a Solomonic and a Davidic dynasty, which would be from the 11th and 10th centuries before the Common Era. And then you're going to tell me that just because Hellenism rises up 700 to 800 years later, that maybe the Greeks were the first one to write the stories that belong in Genesis 1 through 11? No. I think you are wrong, Brother Garfield. I think you are very wrong. I think that you have it all mixed up. You are so willing to discount everything and to say that it did not exist, that you are forgetting the chronology involved which, again, because of the Tildan Stele, we know that Dawid Hamelech existed. Therefore, that puts us well within the latter part of the 11th century and into the 10th century before the Common Era. I feel like we've got a substantial and solid ground to stand upon when we say that just because you say that Abraham didn't exist in the first 11 chapters, that they were taken from a Greek source, you know, because of the Septuagint, I imagine, that when they were taken from the Greek source, that that they really did not exist in Hebrew. Hey, for this scholar spotlight, I want to spotlight basically the positing of, you know what, Garfield is wrong. And I guess I'm highlighting not only Brother Garfield, but I'm highlighting myself, and I'm saying that he's wrong. And that we actually do have proof that, yes, it is far more probable that the characters existed, even in the book of Reshit, even discounting the fact that there are Mesopotamian, and I know the polemical nature of the Tanakh and what it was fighting against in the Babylonian culture. I understand all that, but there is yet and still a greater realm of probability that there was actually the biblical patriarchs, as we read in Genesis 1 through 11, and we can actually move forward and say, hey, because archaeology is now catching up with the truth, hey, we can actually say that there's a greater probability. Now, I offer to every one of you, those of you who would think about this subject and think about it long and hard, I want you to imagine, if you will, that someone comes up to you and they say, well, you exist, right? And you say, yes. Then they say to you, well, prove to me beyond the shadow of a doubt that your great-great-great-great-grandfather, I guess I need some lotion, don't I? Yeah, I do. That your great-great-great-great-grandfather lived. Well, you probably don't even know the name of your great-great-great-grandfather. So how can you prove that they lived? This is the way that it is with Bereshit 1 through 11. There's no way that we could prove that they lived, right? But it doesn't mean that they didn't exist, because you are here and you exist. So therefore, despite the fact that we have no proof for your great-great-great-great-grandfather, you are evidence of your great-great-grandfather. Even though we don't know his name, we know that he must have existed, right? Because you exist. It is the same way, because we know that the Teldan Stele points to the house of David, and therefore David and Solomon, then we know that there had to have been ancestors, there had to have been family members that are in his lineage. And so this has been the scholar's spotlight. And with that being stated, we're going to actually give you a moment, see if you have any questions, and then we'll get into our last segment. All right, let me hop into the chat room and see what you all are saying about the Scholar Spotlight, if anything. Let's take a look here. All right, so looking. Tessa Yah says, dude didn't wake up, so he's not our people, because Yah states he will pour out his spirit on his people. So that's proof to me, and I use it as a test on people now. Okay, I don't blame you, sis. I don't blame you. I hear you. If they fight against the Hebrew Israelite movement, I don't care how they look, they ain't Yah's folks. Very good point. Very good point. And my brother George Evans says, I haven't seen George Washington, but we all know he existed, right? And yes, that's very true. We know that he did exist. And so, with that being stated, I think that we are ready for our last segment. And let's just go here for a moment, and I'm going to come back, and we're going to do our last segment. Then, hey, you're going to get to enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. Be right back. All right, this next segment is so delicious. You know what it is? You know what it is? It's the last one, y'all. Hey, it's Moshe in your kitchen. All right, in this, and by the way, thank you, Bergen Paris, for sharing our website. Let me just say this about the website. I need to revamp it because it does not show the level of excellence that I like, that is my norm. And so, hey, I will be working on that as well. All right, so Moshe in your kitchen. This is one of those, I'm telling you right now, this looks so good until I wanted to see this one again. And I'm just, hey, we're going to go here and we're going to take a look at Moshe in your kitchen right now. Here we go, y'all.
Sakafet YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Let's cook with me from start to finish.
Ooh, is that macaroni and cheese? Hey, get that shrimp off there. We don't eat that mess.
Hello my darlings, it's so nice to have you back here in my kitchen for yet another amazing recipe. I'm so glad to have you here. Gonna start with making my rice and peas, and I've got my pink beans. This is what it looks like. Gonna soak it overnight for best results. It helps to shorten the cooking time. And
now, I've never seen, listen, I've heard of red beans. I don't think I've ever heard of pink beans. But man, I want to see this one again because that food looks so good. Oh my goodness. And my brother Bergen Paris says, every time I see, I look at Moshe, he looks like they're working him bad. And you know what? He's right. He is really right, because it does look like he is being worked for real, though, like in the kitchen. Like he is being worked for real. He looked like he kind of tired. Like, look, I'm a little tired. I'm ready to sit down. But it does look like they're working him. But hey, I've never heard of pink beans before. Maybe I'll try them one day. I don't know.
And yes, my darlings, go ahead and give that a good wash and make sure to drain that water off. I'm going to soak it overnight, and then the next day I'm going to go ahead and cook it for about an hour and a bit, okay? Sometimes you find it cooks quicker than others, but the way you'll know it's cooked is when you squeeze one of the peas in your hand and it crushes easily, okay? So this is how we do it. Pop that into cook. Don't put no seasonings, no nothing in there. Just put it to cook and it will be good to go, okay?
See, I know she can cook because her hands are a little puffy. See, when somebody can cook, their hands will a lot of time be puffy.
So now we have our chicken, and I got that from my butcher. I love getting chicken from my butcher now just because it's so much better quality than when you buy it from the shops. To prep it, I'm going to cut off the bottom pieces, you know, like the feet, and I'm going to cut off all that yellow bits, okay? Give the chicken some good loving, all right? So the method I'm going for today is a spatchcock method. This is where you cut off the backbone. In my case, I like to just cut the backbone in half because it's my hubby's favorite piece. So yes, my
Sorry, y'all. I just wanted to see this one again because this food looks so good.
darlings, go ahead and prep it, cut it up. It's very easy to do. You can use some very sharp kitchen shears to do this. The video is pretty self-explanatory. I'll just let you watch what I'm doing.
No, don't cut me! Don't cut me! Don't cut me! Oh! waiting for her to cut it open, because when she cuts open the chicken, I want to, chickens that have a lot of the growth hormones, they're actually slimy. There's almost like a mucousy membrane, that you can like pull out of it. It's crazy, but some of these chickens that we're getting, chickens that are like whole chickens, many times they're no more than 2 to 3 weeks old from the time that they were hatched, and they've just been grown and just on steroids and growth hormones. And it's I like to have chicken that is pure. You know what I mean? So all that she's cutting off, if you notice, all she cut off was just a little bit by the, like where the thigh is. You have like that extra meat, or extra skin, I should say, and fat. But it's like that's all that she had to cut off. And there wasn't that slimy membrane that I'm talking about. Yeah, Tessa, yeah, I agree with you. Them pink beans do look kind of red to me. I agree with you, Christine Croning. Farm-raised chickens. Did y'all know that I tried to raise chickens on my property? Did I tell y'all that? I tried to raise chickens. Yeah, I had to let it go because they brought movie rats. Like rats from like the movie, like for real. I'm talking about those rats that are almost like the size of small kittens.
So once I was satisfied that all loose skin and hairs and everything that I don't want on my chicken was removed, I did give it a good bath with some lemon juice, cold water and vinegar. And just to let you know, I am not doing this to kill bacteria, okay? Bacteria will be killed once the chicken is cooked. This is my way of prepping that chicken, getting it nicely rinsed, okay? And it also helps to soften the chicken as well. This is just my own preference, okay? So you don't have to do this, but if you want that chicken to be nice and flavorful because you don't know where the chicken's been, give it a good little treatment like that, okay? So over here it's nicely done. I added some oil and then I'm going to create a little dry rub, which is made up of salt, paprika, all-purpose seasoning and some mixed herbs. Mix that in well and then you want to put that on the chicken, okay guys? This is,
so she didn't say what other herbs she's using, but that looks like turmeric. It could be, I don't think it's curry. That could be turmeric and looks like some thyme. Nope. That looks more like rosemary.
is my own little marinade, and darlings, this goes such a long way, okay? See how beautiful it looks. So rub that in. I'm gonna leave a little bit just for underneath the chicken, and this is about a teaspoon of everything, okay? I'll go in with some jerk seasoning, some of my homemade green seasoning, some browning for some color, and then I'm gonna rub that in and massage it well. Now the one thing I will say is, for best results, let this marinate overnight, but if you don't have lots of time, just give it at least 15 minutes somewhere. It will, absorb some of those flavors, okay?
Man, it looks like that's gonna be so good. Oh, that looks like that's gonna be good. I gotta go, y'all. I gotta go. Looks like that is going to be very tasty. Does anyone know what that brown mixture was that she put on there? I missed that. I don't know what that is. Was that mole?
So this is my chicken looking amazing. I did preheat my oven to 180 degrees Celsius and this jerk chicken is looking so good. I did rub off all of the leftover seasonings from the bowl on there, and guys, this looks so amazing. One thing about my whole chickens, they always look really, they always look really, really good. I'll pop it into bake and then we're going to work on the mac and cheese. So in a pot, go in with a little bit of water and some salt. Once it comes up to a boil, add your macaroni. I'm only putting about 1 cup. I'll cook it according to package instructions, which is about 10 minutes, and once it's all cooked, we'll drain it off and then we'll work on the cheese sauce. Okay,
Christine Cronin, you sound like you can cook, because you get I'm paying attention to what you're posting and I'm like, man, that sounds good.
This space heater is being called the Tesla of...
By the way, I'm going to try to get one of these heaters and see if they really work.
Once it's been about 10 minutes, it's time to check on my pasta. And me, if you're like me, I love to clean up my stove as I go along. I don't like cooking on a dirty stove. Let me know if I'm the only ones in the comments. So I'll drain this off and I'll check on my beans. As you can see, it's already soft and nice, and this is what you want. Okay, go ahead and transfer it to a bigger pan because we're making some rice and peas. Okay, so add that to a pan, add a little bit more water, and the water level was a bit too low, and I'm just also going to add in some coconut milk, about half a can of coconut milk, just half a can. If you're making a bigger pot, you can put all of it, but I'm not making that much rice today. And I'm also going to add in some of my Spice Jamaica all-purpose seasoning. I'll also add a little bit of salt. I'll put 1 scotch bonnet pepper and some thyme. And
oh, my sister Kanai Israel said I made some macaroni and cheese this week myself. Send me a plate.
then I'm going to add in 1 spoon of my homemade green seasoning, and then we're going to cover that up. Okay, you can add more or less of the green seasoning. It's just a blend of fresh herbs, so you're not hurting anybody by putting in whatever amount you want. Cover it and let it boil for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and work on the cheese sauce for the mac and cheese. So I'll add in some salted butter to a pan, and then I'll also add in a little spoon of flour. Mix that in well, and then
I believe you, Christine. I believe you 100%. I believe you can cook for real.
And you want to form a nice roux before going in with your whole milk. I love to add a mixture of milks in mine. I love to add evaporated milk, and I love to add whole milk, but you can add whatever milk of your choice. Okay, so this is what I like to do. Stir it in, whisk it in, and yes, my darlings, once the sauce starts to thicken, you can add your cheese. Season it up to your own preference, of course, but please make sure to check down below for all of the cheeses and ingredients that I used in my mac and cheese.
Ooh, what was that she just put in there? Is that like the brownies? Wow, 4 to 5 cheeses. Oh my goodness. I'm getting hungry. I'm getting hungry. Hungry now, I hungry. I get it very hungry. Okay, it's looking thicker now. I'm getting hungry. Getting hungry. Getting hungry.
So once everything was nicely poured, I did go ahead and add in my leftover mozzarella and cheddar cheese, and I will top it off like this. My oven is already preheated as well because the jerk chicken is actually in there at the moment. So I'm just going to put my mac and cheese on the bottom tray. And yes, my darlings, once it's all topped up to your preference, go ahead and add some chopped pieces of parsley on the top. This is optional. I just love the way it looks once it's all baked. And yes, my darlings, cover that up with a foil. Let it bake for about 10-15 minutes, and then we're going to take the foil off and give it another 10-15 minutes for best results. Okay,
I'm getting hungry. I'm hungry. I'm getting hungry. I'm hungry.
at this point we're gonna go ahead and add in our rice. So I'm gonna go in with my jasmine rice. I'm only making about a cup of rice today, but remember the ratio is always 1 cup of rice to 1.5 cups of liquid for best results. And I'm just gonna give that a good rinse before adding it into my pot. And my pot has about a cup and a half of water in there, well, a cup and a half of liquid in there. Add in your rice, mix that in well, and then you want to steam that on low for about 10 to 15 minutes covered. Okay, I love to add a foil on the lid, that way it just helps it to steam down beautifully. And guys, this is already looking amazing. Okay, so go ahead and just cover that up, make sure it's nicely sealed, nice and tight, and this will ensure that this rice gets cooked to perfection. Okay guys, this is what I love. Okay, so leave that on the side to do its thing, and then we're gonna go ahead and check on the chicken. We're gonna baste it up with the juices. Basting is where you take the juices that has been released from the chicken and pour it back onto it. That will stop it from drying out. Okay, and you know, jerk chicken is something that you don't want to serve dry because it's not flavorful at all when it's dry. Use all those juices and baste it on. Okay, you can use a spoon as well. You don't have to use this fancy gadget that I'm using. You can just use a spoon and just pour it back on, and just keep pouring it back on till you're satisfied or till your hand starts to hurt. We're gonna put it back into the oven for another 15 minutes, and we're gonna work on our steamed veg. So for my steamed veg, I'm using 1 bell pepper of each color. We also have this small piece of cabbage left over from the coleslaw that I did a couple days ago. So yes, my darlings, go ahead and slice up your peppers, slice up your cabbage, everything. And once everything is all prepped up, you want to wash it with some vinegar and some cold water, and then we're going to season it up.
It amazes me that it's 2024 and people.
Oh, come on. Yeah, there's a skip. Okay.
Washed and prepped, it looks so good. Go ahead and transfer it to your pot. Add in a little bit of mixed herbs, add in a little bit of all-purpose seasoning and some butter, and you want to steam that for about 5 minutes covered for the perfect veg every single time. You guys probably know how to make my veg off head now, because this is the only and the best way to make it. Okay, go ahead and put that to steam. At this point, my rice and peas is ready, so I'm gonna go ahead and fluff it up, remove the scotch bonnet pepper and the thyme because they already served their purpose, and this is looking so good. Okay guys, once I fluffed it up, I also just cover it up for a couple more minutes, because you know, any leftover steam will just keep getting that rice even fluffier. And oh my god, if only you could smell how amazing this is.
fact that I am very hungry right now. I'm very hungry.
In about 5-6 minutes, and my steamed veg is looking beautiful. I didn't have to
Yes,
add
that
in any
looks
liquid to
good.
this,
That
and it
looks
just looks
so
so
good to
so
me.
good. Yes, darlings, cover it up and turn it off. At this point, my mac and cheese
look at
is
that macaroni
ready,
and
and oh my
cheese.
gosh, look at how it looks. Do you like the middle piece or the corner piece? I love me a middle piece. My jerk chicken is also ready. I did go ahead and drain off the sauce at the bottom and add it to a pan with some ketchup, barbecue, and honey, just to make a little sauce, because I personally love my jerk chicken dry. My boys love the little sauce. Okay, so I just have to give everybody what they want. So this is why I don't have that much sauce going on. However, if you want a big pan of sauce, you can also do that. Okay, so yes, my darling, sauce is ready, mac and cheese is ready, rice and peas is ready. We also have the jerk chicken. Everything is looking good. Everything
yes.
is looking nice. This is how we do a cook with me on a Sunday. I'm gonna go ahead and just cut into the mac and cheese just to show you how amazing it's looking. And guys, look at that. You cannot go wrong. This is the plate finally plated. Oh my gosh, guys, it looks so good. I'm gonna go ahead and put some of that gravy on the top of the chicken. This is optional, but guys, when you add the gravy on, it makes such a big difference. You don't have to make it too wet, just a little something. It looks
If that don't look good, oh my goodness.
so good. Thank you so much for watching my cook with me. It's been such a pleasure having you here, and I can't wait to see you in my next one.
Well, man, that looks good. And I'm for real dealing with some issues here because I'm hungry. Yeah, I definitely am. That looks absolutely delicious. Oh my goodness. Well, fam, hey, I think that we have just completed our last segment for the day. So, hey, I think that we're going to skedaddle and we're going to let you enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. And I want to say, let me do this. Let me just pause for a second. Maybe someone will have a question. And so I'm going to pause for a second, come back, and then, hey, we will definitely take the next steps after we see what's up. All right, I do not see any questions or comments. And hey, by the way, you are very welcome, repentant and saved. And hey, at this particular point, I think that, you know, we've enjoyed our time together. And once again, I have to thank you for giving me the two precious gifts that you give me on this Shabbat morning coffee, which is your time and your attention. I pray that we've said something that would point you to walking in a more intimate and a closer walk with the Most High, and that we brought more of His ways and His truths into your life. Brother Gilbert says that he wanted to talk about Hebrew money, and so I would say we can definitely have that conversation. If there isn't a question or a comment right now, we can definitely have that conversation. So. And thank you, Tessayah, who says, peace and blessings, baruchings to everyone. And we love the content you are providing. Thank you so much, Tessayah. And I want to say that without any further ado, I'm going to let you guys enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. Know that I love you. Know that my prayers are with you. Know that I am working over here for you so that you will be everything that the Most High wants you to be, and that you will have everything that the Most High wants you to have. I pray for your success. I pray for your strength. I pray for your wisdom. I pray for your longevity. I pray for solid, secure habits. And I pray that you experience the kingdom of the Most High. And hey, I want the Most High to bless your socks off. And with that being stated, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and go, and I'm going to let you enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. I love you all, and until we can meet again, by the way, I have every intention of having Yom Arba'ah, the fourth day, on Wednesday, and we're going to aim for 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. I love you all. Remember, you are Israel and you are no longer cursed, but we are blessed. And we are blessed of the Most High. Look to see his hand and his blessings in your life. And I say that we are accepting what the Most High is doing. We accept his will for our lives. We accept the path that he's leading us down. And we say yes. He is orchestrating a plan that involves us, and we say yes to it. And with that being stated, hey, I'm going to leave you with, I'm going to leave you to enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. May the Most High bless you. May he keep you in Yah and in Yah alone. Shabbat Shalom. Peace and blessings, my brothers and my sisters.